Well, we're taking it easy and we're feeling fine. Put a little stitching here on Island Time. If you get in a hurry, well, it's not a crime. But won't you come and join us on Island Time?
We have 4 floss tubes worth of...
We're not going to try to do 4 floss tubes
No.
worth, and we'll take a break whenever we need to.
That's what we're going to have to do,
Because we are going to be humane to ourselves.
There you go. Yay!
Yay!
Hello, FlossTube friends. Welcome. My name is Lori Millsap. This is my daughter, Mallory Bosse, and together we are stitching on Island Time. We are so happy to have you join us for FlossTube episode 21.
That's crazy.
I
Our
know.
floss tube can officially drink.
Oh, that is amazing. Yeah, didn't even think of that. Well, you know, so many of my FlossTube friends are in the multiple hundreds, you know, that I still think of us as a baby floss tuber. But I guess at 21, we are kind of legal now. So awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a weird floss tube for you guys today. We're filming this on Monday, April 27th, and who knows how many segments this will get broken into.
Right.
We have so much to show in the 3 weeks since we saw you last that we don't know how long this episode's going to be.
We talked about shooting multiple episodes, changing shirts in between, and just making a whole new video while we're out and have everything set up. But
hopefully that sounds like something you'd like to sit with. So if you are in this video, even if you're new here, make sure that you have liked the video and subscribed so that you can get our future videos. And if you want to just let us chat with you while you're stitching, make sure you've got a nice drink, something cozy to stitch on, and enjoy some quality time with us.
there you go. We are kind of dazzled by how much we have to show you.
Yes.
Mainly because we've managed to order a bunch of frames.
So many.
And so we have so many framed finishes that's going to be the bulk of our finish parade here. But also we've got a lot of other things we finished. I've got a couple of quilt objects. I've got a bunch of blocks. I've got, you know, some other things I've finished in other ways, and Mallory does too. So
not only cross stitch, but also yarn related things.
Right.
That reminds me, before we jump into cross stitch, let's talk about our quilt of the day.
sure. This quilt is a bonus quilt that I made in one day, from beginning to end.
She's a wizard.
Well, it was sort of fun for me to, it resets my mental health to have a fast finish like that. I'm calling this Abloom Cross-Stitch Quilt. It is from the Abloom line of fabric by Corey Yoder, Coriander Quilts, for Moda Fabrics. And I'm currently doing the designer mystery quilt for 2025 from this line of fabric.
Socialites, is that what it's
No,
called?
it's not. It's called the Designer Mystery
Challenge.
2025
Gotcha.
quilt.
Okay.
So Designer Mystery is a program where you buy it in advance. They send you a block every month, and you know what the finish is going to look like. You just don't know what the blocks look like.
Oh, gotcha.
So you get the full finishing kit. I had it since last summer. I had the full backing piece. I've had that since last summer. And each month I'm just waiting on a block to arrive. So I have one more block and I'll be able to assemble my quilt and quilt it. So hopefully next month, maybe depending on how things go in May, I may have that quilt on the wall to show you. But in the meantime, when I got the finishing set, I didn't love the border that they had assigned to that. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to order a different fabric for my border just because I don't necessarily want a white border on a quilt. And so what can I do then with this extra border fabric that will come in my set? And so I went ahead and ordered the Abloom panel, which is this set of 20 cross-stitch blocks.
And it's very cute because it's printed to look like it's got the X's of each cross stitch, which I think is adorable.
Yeah, so it's like vintage cross-stitch embroidery that people did on their fabric, where they would, you know, it's an embroidery cross-stitch, not a counted cross-stitch. And so it's printed in the colors that match the line of fabric. And then I thought, well, I'll just use up, my scraps it barely made a dent. I mean, it was the tiniest little amount of my scraps. So, but I did piece then this center. And when you trim the panel, I was trying to get 8.5-inch blocks, but some of them are a little too close to the selvage to get a full 8.5. And so, you know, and think about it, it's printed 5 across and fabric's only 44 inches wide. So, you know, and that includes selvages. So anyway, I ended up cutting them 8 inches, which makes it a little more interesting on the math when you're putting together the sashing. But anyway, it was fun and I really enjoyed piecing it. I pieced it last Tuesday morning and quilted it Tuesday afternoon and bound it Tuesday before dinner. Before I started dinner, actually. I cooked that evening. So anyway, it was
amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make a Abloom Cross-Stitch Quilt. I made it last week. So it was the bonus quilt this month. And I really enjoyed working on it.
You're incredible.
So, well, I don't know about that, but I do get an itchy brain that has to make a quilt fast and furious. I mean, honestly, I think my favorite way to quilt is a quilt I piece in a day, quilt in a day, get it bound and washed and on a bed the next day. Like, I really like a 2-3 day quilt project. That makes me really happy. I don't mind projects that linger, you know, that I can work on a little bit at a time, but it just makes me happy to finish one in less than a week. So,
especially since so much of what we're doing are hand crafts, and so those are definitely going to be slower than using a machine, and you end up slowing down to do your individual craft. So having something that you can whip out.
That's right. Yeah, it is. It's very satisfying. In fact, I did another project, and I'll show it to you later, with Fat Quarter Shop this month. I have 2 Fat Quarter Shop stitch-alongs that I'm participating in, and those are slow, and I'm going to have to work on them for months and months. But I had a Fat Quarter Shop quilt-along that I worked on, and I whipped that thing up, and it's been on my wall for a couple of weeks. So it's just the difference between, you know, the art forms.
Yes.
Like, stitching is definitely a slower, you know, requires hands-on attention, slow stitching. It's why I cross-stitch, honestly, because most of the time my quilting is fast and furious, and I need something that I can work on in the evening that's slow and deliberate.
Yes.
So
slowing down is actually so nice. Like, I feel like I go all day long chasing kids, and then when I sit down to stitch, I actually do get to take that break, breathe, just stitch, relax into it. It's very good.
Well, so this little quilt is small. It's just a crib size, small little quilt. And so I'll probably gift it as a baby gift at some point to somebody that I love. So we'll see if I get any more babies in my family or close family, close friends. And then, you know, that'll be.
You might hear me complaining in this video about the soreness of my arms, because speaking of babies, at church yesterday, I held a baby all morning long because he was precious and fell asleep in my arms and I couldn't put him down. And boy, are my arms tired. I have not used those mommy muscles.
Yes.
In a while.
Yes, it definitely takes a toll. So we filmed last time on April 7th. I think we uploaded on April 8th. It takes, you know, Mallory a day or so to get things edited, and then.
Well, I had it finished editing at 3:50 p.m. that day, and then immediately started uploading, and it didn't finish uploading until the 8th.
Right. And that's just fine. But but so what today is April 26th? 27th, okay? So April 27th, and here
exactly 20 days later.
Yeah. Here we go with a lot of stuff that has happened. The first thing that happened was that Saturday, April 11th, our local needlework shop in Nashville, North Carolina opened. And so a lot of us flossy floozies road tripped to Nashville and got to see a local needlework store in person for the first time in a while. It's a lovely shop. The Southern Needle is a presence on Etsy, so you can order from them, and they have, you know, fully stocked, a really nice selection of linen, a really nice selection of flosses, of the newest charts for market. It was a great shop, and we were so proud to get to go to their grand opening. We, you know, of course, bought a few things. We'll show you later in our haul.
Oh, and they had cookies. You guys know how much that matters, right?
Right.
Opening day, cookies, yes.
Yes, that was good.
It was pretty much standing room only. I felt like all of Eastern North Carolina, because we had some folks from Virginia and South Carolina that drove up and down.
Right.
We all just fell into the store like we needed to come up for air. You know, good,
Yes.
a cross-stitch store, finally.
Yes, that was really nice.
The owners were really sweet. We had a great time.
Yeah, it's an excellent shop. So definitely check out the Southern Needle in Nashville, North Carolina, if you're coming through the area. Okay, I think we're going to have to get started with some of these finishes because otherwise we will be here for many, many hours. We had a great month of framing. And so I had shown you in the video on at the beginning of the month 3 pieces that I had planned to frame, and my frames arrived. I'm pretty sure they came
like the next day.
The next day. They've been on my wall for a little while, which is great. In fact, because of my framed finish of his eyes on the Sparrow, I've picked up over 300 new followers on my Instagram account.
What?
So I am Island Time Quilting on Instagram. Mallory is M3 Bosse. We would love for you to follow us on Instagram. We also have a joint account, Stitching on Island Time, on Instagram, but I am terrible about remembering to post there. I don't have a better word for that.
We should probably post some of my Lori Holt finishes
Absolutely.
onto our joint account since we're both stitching.
Sure.
Quilted Farm Girl and Farmyard Friends.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with a couple of the ones that I showed you earlier in the month, and now they're framed.
The frame just steps it up to a whole new level.
Isn't it great? So this is the Black Rooster 1811 Summer Stitch Along from Soda D. And it was a available download weekly for 12 weeks on the Soda D website. And it was a mystery. So we just started in the center and just, and actually we may have started with that alphabet, I think is where we started, but we just started stitching. I did a full color conversion to Belle Soie, which is one of my very favorite silks to work with. I just happened to have all the colors I needed. Like I pulled the DMC and then went to my stash, and they just matched so well that I stitched in Belle Soie.
That's when you know it's meant to be.
Yeah, and it was a lovely, I just enjoyed everything about it. So Soda D has got another summer stitch along that's starting in May, and you have to sign up for her newsletter this time to be able to receive that stitch along. So if you'll go to their website or their Facebook page and go find their website address, and I'll have it in the box down below if you want to just go straight there. Sign up for their newsletter, confirm your email, and then if you'd like to stitch along with their summer stitch along, all the details are there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I really enjoyed stitching on it last summer. We traveled a lot last summer. My father-in-law had knee replacement surgery, so I was gone for a month, and a lot of that happened, and so it was nice to have a piece with me that I could work on.
This is a good travel-sized buddy too.
Yeah, and this one was stitched on 40 count Pemberley by Swan Bay Fabrics with Belle Soie silk.
What's really fun is Mom was able to give this to me with the measurements, and so I was able to close it up onto the board that came with the frame from Art to Frame.
Yes.
So when the frames arrived, I zipped upstairs and put everything actually onto the foam core that came, and it just turned out so good.
So you'll see that difference between my 3 frame finishes and Mallory's frame finishes. She had hers already prepared on mat board and ready to go in the frame, so she was able to put a corrugated backing on the back of hers. My 3, especially these 2 small ones, we haven't even covered the back with paper because they're hanging against the wall, so, and it gives you the opportunity to see her great lacing job on the back. It's really nice to live with my framer.
It does make it very convenient, doesn't it?
So we ordered these frames from Art to Frame. This one is Vibrant Flowers by Kathy Barrick. I did this with Tara Sullivan for her birthday start on April 6th in 2024. I just finally finished it in January of 2026. I had a really good start on it. It's just, wasn't I didn't pull it out constantly. I had ordered the kit from Rachel, at Needle and Flax so that I would get the called for linen, which I think maybe Hawthorne, I'm pretty sure, 36 count Hawthorne. And it was so much fun to stitch, and it was NPI silks. So I got the silks and the linen and the chart from Rachel, and then started it for Tara's birthday. And I enjoy stitching with NPI. It's a solid color silk, so you don't have any of the variegation. A couple of things on this chart put me off of working on it for a little while. Like, I worked a lot of detail into a couple of those flowers, and then the two colors of red were so close to each other that the change in tone between them is so subtle that I was like, well, that was a lot of work for nothing, and it would make me angry, and I would put it back in the bag. So that was part of the process on this one. But as a finished piece, I really like it, and I love it in the frame. I think it just is a beautiful, I just got like not quite black, like a really dark black-ish frame to accent some of the black in the fence and other places in the chart.
It's gorgeous.
So, yeah, I liked it. It was another one of those, though, that kind of got on your nerves because of the amount of confetti, like all those floating little button flowers that are in the background, you know, they've got a lot of color changes in each one, and it sort of lose count of how many there are. At some point you're like, oh, I thought I had all of those things done, you know. But anyway, it was fun to stitch, and I'm glad I stitched it. It's a pretty little piece, and I enjoy having it on the wall.
Yeah. And it's been up since we got the frame for it.
Yeah,
we've just
absolutely.
been enjoying it on the wall.
Yeah.
The hardest part about having a framed finish parade is we immediately put all of our framed finishes up all over. So
Absolutely.
we can enjoy
We've been enjoying them immediately, and so we had to go collect them off the wall this morning. So, and then this is the piece. I'm going to show you my last frame finish, and then we'll start doing Mallory's because she's got some beautiful pieces too. But this piece won't fit in frame.
No, it won't.
For you to see the entire thing at once. We've already looked. You're just going to get what you get, and we'll put some B-roll pictures in here so that you can see it up close. But on my Instagram, I showed this one framed, and it has been a very popular Instagram post. This is His Eyes on the Sparrow. It is by Heartstrings Samplery. I started this on Leap Day 2024, so February 29th of 2024, with all the called for colors of floss on Dirty Teacup, 36 count Dirty Teacup. And I worked on it for 87 days total, although the last push was an 8-day nonstop, basically, to do almost a fifth of the chart. I did about
monogamously.
I did about 11,000 stitches over 8 days to push myself to a finish, but I'm so happy with it. I love how it turned out. You know, those bubblegum pink Adam and Eve, the house, I changed the colors of the house. I've had a few people ask me about that. When I started this, Chris the Camping Stitcher was doing a Leap Day sal, and Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts was going to start this. And I went, oh, I think I have that chart. And so I went in the other room and I found, yes, I had bought the paper chart at Dying to Stitch when I was there. And I had bought about maybe half of the flosses that I needed were tucked in with the chart. And so I thought, you know, I could start that and let me see if I've got any linen in my stash. And I had a half yard of Dirty Teacup. So I said, well, that'll work. That looks like it's the right color. And so I just pulled it all together. And then on that morning, I was on the Homespun Needle Art Facebook group, and somebody said that they had bought the PDF. And I went, oh, there's a PDF? And so I went straight to Heartstrings Samplery's website and downloaded the PDF and brought it into Markup RXP. And I think that makes all the difference. If you're struggling to finish a large chart and you only have the paper chart, I highly recommend you go see if there is a PDF that would work in Pattern Keeper or Markup RXP, because it makes a huge difference. Even if you're halfway through and you have to just sit and color one evening to catch yourself up on the chart, you know, of what you've already stitched. It's so nice to be able to zoom in to a motif, to just click on a symbol and figure out what color floss you need, pull a strand and stitch. You make so much more progress on a PDF. And a lot of people don't even use one of those apps, but I just love the data they give me.
Oh, yeah.
Like the idea that I could just go in and say, oh, I had 87 active stitching days. And then I went back in my calendar and figured out of all the 26 months that I worked on this, 3 months I didn't work on it at all. So that was kind of interesting, but only 3 months out of 26 months. That's a pretty consistent work. What I did mostly was pull this out on the 29th of the month and work on it the 29th, 30th, and 31st if there was one. So those were my typical days to work on it. And then occasionally I would just be in the mood. And we went on a trip once and I took only Sparrow with me because I knew I wouldn't run out of stuff to stitch, you know, things like that. So I had a few extra bursts that I worked on it, but for the most part, it was only 87 days. So if you wanted to do a big piece like this, it's about 50,000 stitches. You could knock it out over a summer. You know,
Sampler summer.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just it's a wonderful thing to have accomplished. So,
And it's gorgeous.
and I love it. I love
If we
it
bring
so
it down
much.
a little bit, everybody can see the top edge a little. There you
Yeah.
go. So there's the full thing, and if it's not in frame still, I will make sure to put some nice high quality pictures in here.
Yeah, we just, you know, it's so big. It's
huge.
20 by 24 inches. And I love this frame. Again, I ordered this frame from Art to Frame, and here, I'll bring it in a little bit so you can just see the framing. It's really nice. It's not heavy. Mallory's tired arms are able to hold that out there for you. So it's not heavy. And the only thing we did differently on this one is we did cut a piece of paper and cover the back because I've got that kind of hanger with the wire on there and I wanted to be able to slide it down the wall
Without snagging on the lacing.
and catch the nail, you know. So
Yeah, your lacer worked 2 days on this.
exactly. I mean, it's a doozy to try, and she did a wonderful job. But so the frame at Art to Frame for this piece was only about $40. So, you know, and it came with the board then on the inside, the foam core that Mallory was able to lace on. So it was a total cost of about $40 to frame this.
The trick is to order your frame without glass.
Right. Glass makes it much more expensive. But I like having my stitched pieces without glass. I like being able to touch the texture if I want to. I mean, you know, I know that doesn't preserve them for museum, you know, space later, but also
We don't live in a museum.
No,
We like to enjoy the things that we have.
I just want to enjoy it. So I put it on the wall, and I've got pictures on my Instagram account where it is on the wall. It's directly across from my most typical stitching position. So I daydream and stare at it still. So it's really lovely, and I've enjoyed it.
It's gorgeous.
Okay, those are my 3 framed finishes. Now let's get into Mallory's parade of framed finishes.
Some of these were pretty old and had been matted and laced and everything for a long time.
Yeah, but and what's great is we ordered these frames one Thursday and they came the next Thursday. We ordered 5 frames at one time and it took a week.
That's really
So,
impressive.
right?
And it was so much fun to just unbox the frames and then immediately pop the piece in because it just dresses it up so nicely. This is a pattern by Hands On Design, one of Kathy Haberman's, and I stitched it last summer and had it laced and ready forever since then. But what's really nice is when we were looking at frames, there is such a vast variety of colors to choose from. And so we went with white on this one to give it a stark contrast to the black fabric that it's stitched on, bring up all the white that's in it from the text, and I love it. It hangs right with another piece that Mom made that has lots of black and white and like the buffalo plaid black and white, and it looks like they were made to be together. It's just so pretty.
Yeah, this one was called Let's Talk Cross-Stitch.
And it's just a fun one. I started this one on Ocracoke when we were on the island.
Yeah, I had kitted this. I have Let's Talk Quilting I don't know, maybe 50% finished, 75. Stitched on it for a long time and then just moved on to other things. Now I'm very tempted to pull it out and finish it so that we can frame these, have these together. But I kitted them at the same time and kind of went eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one do I want to do first? And I started the quilting one because obviously, and this was just kitted, and Mallory found it in my stash of many things that are kitted and said,
it's so cute.
I would like to stitch that. And then, of course, like all things, she's so much faster than I am, and she gets things done. So, lickety split.
The only difference to the chart that I made for this one was I recharted the frog that Kathy had designed. For some reason, the frog just didn't make me happy, and so I went with a slightly more Kermit-y kind of frog, and so just did a redesign, same colors. And if you are interested in stitching this guy the same way that I did, just send me an email and I can send you a screenshot or a PDF, whatever, so that you can see my changes. But it was so much fun to do, and it looks so good in its frame.
Yes, it does.
And from art to frame as well, but this is the back of the the cardboard.
Yeah.
That came with my frame, and so it's just covering my lacing job.
So we knew that Mallory already had all of hers matted to size. In fact, I measured her mats to order the frames to fit. And so we just had them use their corrugated cardboard to send us in the back, which is one of the options, and it makes it really nice just to cover up the lacing.
Yes.
So, and it all fits in there nicely.
Yep, and I don't have to worry about it snagging on the back side, which is good.
Right.
This is an older finish as well, and I actually hung it on my wall with no frame for a period of time. I used thumbtacks and just had it resting. The problem is every time you open and close the door and that draft hits it, it would just fall off the wall. But this is Una Buena Pieza's Fungi Garden. And I stitched this, as you can tell, on Black Ada, just like the last piece. This is a 14 count DMC, and it was so fun to stitch. Can I just tell you that the chart, you start up here in these pinks and oranges, and you just work your way down and end with all these beautiful blues and greens. It made me so happy, and my children are already fighting over who gets to keep it.
Yeah.
Putting it in this pink frame was also a bit of stepping out in faith for me because I wasn't 100% sure that the pink was going to work. Not only does it work, I love it.
I do too.
It's one of my favorites of the ones that we got framed because it's just so cute.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I love how brave Mallory is with color. She does a lot more. Now, I'm this brave with quilting color, but in cross stitch, I'm such a traditional decorator that I always sort of default to the more traditional samplers, the more traditional colors and samplers. I like a lot of prim, but I equally admire all of these things. It's just not typically what I stitch. So anyway, I think this is gorgeous. And the pink frame is just...
It's made me fall in love with it all over again. And I was telling my husband yesterday, I want to do some circular hoop finishes of the motifs from this pattern to give to my girls so they can each have one in their room.
Oh, that's smart.
Because they're so jealous right now.
Sure. Yeah, that is very smart. That is what you ought to do. Maybe even put their names on them.
Yeah, and I kept the kit, with all its colors and everything, because I knew I might want to restitch this one. It was that fun to stitch. So I'm totally just going to do that.
Yeah, I love it. This frame is amazing. And again, I was across the room going, and what color frame do you want to put on Quilted Witch? Okay, how about this one? And she said, sure. Look how great this frame is.
I was so pleased with her. Not only was this frame like a fantastic color to match the vibe, but I love this accent of silver. The gilded silver on the edge makes her needle in her hand look like it's also metallic. I don't know. That's magic. All right. That's just pure magic. But yes, I am so pleased with how she turned out. And she's a big girl.
She is.
She's quite large.
She's a nice size.
She ended up in our foyer where we've got on either side of our double front doors, all of our Lori Holt finishes. So
yes.
Lots of fat quarter shop in our foyer. And she looks like she just belongs there all year.
Yeah, I don't think we're putting her away. I mean, I am a Quilted Witch, so I don't think that's restricted to October. No.
I think she's an all year kind of girly, and
yeah,
man, was she fun to stitch.
Yeah.
This is on Prim Even Weave and 25 count even weave. And can I just say this was the first time I worked on 25 count. and I fell in love with it because it is so easy to see those fibers. They all lay nice and neat. I'm not much of a linen fan because of the slubs. Don't come at me. But I really loved stitching over too, and this was just so much fun. She just turned out so great.
Yes, she's beautiful.
So
Just
she makes
beautiful.
me very happy, and she's in our foyer. That's number 3.
And I do have some pictures of it, all the pieces on the wall, so I will give those to Mallory to put in here somewhere. So.
All right, I'm saving Quilted Farm Girl for last.
Okay, that sounds great.
This was another colored frame that we stepped out on faith with, but look how amazing.
I mean, can you not, people? Look at this.
This is the Noel Sampler by Satsuma Street, and I did all of the called for DMCs. This is also on even weave. This is 28 count, and I don't remember the color name of the ground, but I chose a nice neutral.
Yeah, I think it might have just been white.
Well,
Like
no, because there was enough
that's
white in
right.
the chart that I wanted it to
Yeah.
stand out against. So
Yeah.
I chose a more neutral ground, like mushroom or something like that.
Yeah, it might have been my mushroom. I have a big piece of 28 count mushroom Lugana, so that's probably what it is.
I think that's what it is. But it was so much fun to stitch. I started this December last year. It was my holiday stitch that I worked on. I did not get it done. And so I decided that the 24th and 25th of each month, I would pick up Christmas stitching again, and finished it in March. So if you've got a Christmas project, please don't put it down just because it's the wrong season. Pick it up every once in a while, because a couple of stitches a day, we're going to get it done.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
turned out
she was
so great.
basically finishing a block a day. So, you know, she was halfway done or so. And then in January, she got a couple of blocks done. And in February, she got a couple of blocks done. And then in March, she got those last 2 blocks done.
Yep.
So,
In fact, I stitched this while I was editing one of our episodes. I remember that.
Sure. Yeah.
I had to leave the L for last, of course, because then it had no L. And I'm a dork. You guys know that. I'm a dork. So,
Yes.
But now it officially says no L, and it's just so
And
pretty.
she was going to put it away. And I said, no, find a place to hang it so you can enjoy it now. So she hung this in her bedroom too.
Literally, you walk into the door of my bedroom, it's the first thing you see, and I love it.
Yes.
Love, love, love it.
Because it's just so bright and wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the one that's in my room, and the last one I have here is another Lori Holt Fat Quarter Shop design. This is called Quilted Farm Girl, and so naturally we bought a frame that was called Barn Door. And guys,
Isn't
look at
it-
my baby.
Isn't she great?
I opened this frame and went, oh my gosh, the texture, it's like an actual barn door. That's cool. And then I laid her in it and went, she's home.
That's
she's
right.
home. This is perfect. It's just so good. I used the call for DMCs for this project with the exception of this green, which is Weeping Willow in Classic Colorworks, and one of the lighter blues. The lighter blue here is St. Bernard. I happened to not have those colors in DMC, and so I grabbed the fancy flosses. But this is mostly DMC, and I did, I don't know, a page finish at a time. So I ended up with a weird section of her face at first that was done, and then moved down here into the flowers, moved over to finish her skirt, and then came up into the sky again. But I left the basket for last because I knew I wanted to make a change. The original pattern, she's holding a basket of strawberries. In mine, I wanted her to be holding a basket of eggs because I'm a chicken mama and I go on an egg hunt every day. In fact, I pulled 15 this morning.
Oh, wow.
And my eggs come in a variety of colors because I have multiple breeds of chicken. And so I was able to pull colors, fancy floss colors, that looked exactly like my chicken's eggs. In fact, we were in a stitching store, dying to stitch, my husband and I looked at the wall and I said, help me find egg colors. And my husband and I went egg hunting in the store.
That's fun.
But the basket here, I did not have a pattern when I sat down and stitched it. I just made it up in my mind as I went. So we call that nashing it because that's how Stacy Nash designs everything that she stitched. She does not sit down with a chart that she's looking at. She makes it up as she goes. That's crazy. I did that with a basket. I'm not going to do that with a whole chart. But I'm so pleased with how it turned out. The long stitches make it look like it's actually woven. And I've got a friend that wants me to take a nice high quality picture of it because she plans to copy it exactly, which is totally fine. So
Right.
I'm so pleased. It turned out so good.
Yeah, I think it's fabulous.
And she sits right under the Quilted Witch in the foyer so that they are
Yes.
together, and I love that.
Yep, she is just beautiful. I've got mine as a whip. I will show it to you when we work on whips in a little while.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a stitch along.
Yeah, it's a year-long stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop. That yeah, Mallory is not a year-long stitch along kind of girl. She's a get it done because I'm having so much fun with it kind of girl.
Yeah. I'm not monogamous. I'm monogamish.
Exactly. Yes.
Like something will sing for me and I don't want to actually put it down.
Right. And that's okay. That's a good way to be. I honestly have found myself becoming more and more monogamish in the last month or two. I think, you know, I had so much fun playing Milestone Manor. And then when I pushed to finish Sparrow, Sparrow's one of my main pieces in Milestone Manor. Like it was my four-year piece that every time I restarted, I would go back to Sparrow. And so I was kind of trying to decide what I was going to do with that. And then we're traveling a lot this summer. So when I set aside, I was like, Milestone Manor is so much fun. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a game that Jessie Marie Does Stuff designed. And it's super fun. You can go to her channel to watch her video about it and see. I played it for 3 months and I got so much stitching done. I probably will play it again before the end of the year, but right now the season is not good for me. I'm going to be, you know, May's going to be busy. We're traveling in May. June's going to be busy. I'm traveling. My birthday's July 1st. I'm traveling. So it may be September before I'm back to playing. I think it's going to be a winter game for me because we don't travel as much in the winter. Lord willing, there are no hurricanes. That's really what keeps me home. If I have to respond to a hurricane, all bets are off.
That's right.
I have 3 more finishes, and Mallory has some other finishes that just aren't framed. Yeah. So I'm going to show you the ones I finished. This was a whim, but a good one. That I decided to do a deep dive into my box of things that I stitched a long time ago and just never fully finished and see what I had there. And when I went through, I had a big stack of Halloween stuff I haven't finished. I had a big stack of Christmas stuff I haven't finished. And then I had these 3 charts that really didn't fit
either of those categories.
No. And I was like, well, they're all large-ish. They could be the fronts of project bags in the size of bag that I like to have. So these are nice, big, you know, typical fabric project bags for me. And I just put some finishes on the front. Oh, this one's got fuzz on it.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. Okay. So this is You Had Me at Flamingo by Kathy Haberman, Hands On Design. I stitched it probably in 2022. It's on an even weave, a white even weave. And it was super fun to stitch, but then I just never finished it. I think my intention to do something with it was to put it in the Airstream because that was the Airstream was going to be all flamingo themed. That's kind of a Airstream thing.
Sure.
But I just never, I'm not that kind of decorator.
Can we show the inside?
And then I had all these fabrics in my stash, including that perfect flamingo lining fabric that so exactly matched. And let me tell you, I had that rickrack laying next to my sewing machine. I don't know why. I don't know if it came in a package or if I don't know why I had this rickrack out, but I went, oh, that'll work. It's a Lady Dots, but it's not the one that I thought it was. Like after I got it on there, I was like, oh, it's a little lighter blue and not her sea glass kind of color.
But it's perfect.
But it works great. So anyway, I just added a little rickrack just to dress it up a little bit.
It's fantastic.
And I love it. I haven't put anything in these bags yet, because I wanted to show them to you. This was Sail Away, which was a mystery stitch along that I did in May of 2021. So I came back to cross stitch in February of 2021. So this is one of my very first things that I stitched from Fat Quarter Shop. I'm pretty sure it was 2021. I'm still on Ada here. You know, like within just a few months, I went to even weave, and then by middle to late 2022, I was stitching on linen. So I'm pretty sure this was 2021. But I think if this was, I know it was May. If this was 2021, this was the first fancy floss I ever stitched with.
Oh, that's
So
so
that's
cool.
kind of fun to have the variegated colors that came as part of. So I ordered the kit from Fat Quarter Shop. I ordered the right color Ada and you know everything. And then when I finished it, and I worked on it diligently, like I finished it in the window we were supposed to be stitching on it because I wasn't doing a lot of. I didn't have a lot of whips back then. But I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't really want to, I'm not great at doing the Priscilla stitching with the housewives kind of finishes. I don't make big bows very well. Like that's just not my style. And so I didn't have a piece to put it on.
Right.
So anyway,
I think this is perfect.
Languished. Yes, but I love this fabric. And I love this light blue that I had. I love the fabric had light blue in it, so it matched the Ada well. Anyway, it's great. I'm so pleased with it. And I have a lot of beach things to put in there. I mean, you know, I am island time quilting, stitching on island time, you know, so that'll be great. All right, and then this one was called Heartfelt. And Heartfelt was the Make-A-Wish charity stitch along in 2022. So it was released by Fat Quarter Shop right after the first of the year in 2022. I stitched it with Aura Floss. So I ordered the set of colors to stitch it with. I actually love Aura Floss. I don't know if you've ever stitched with it, but it's comes on a wooden spool. It's a 6-stranded cotton floss, just like DMC. It's solid colors. But it's on a wooden spool so you can cut your lengths, whatever length you want them to be. And then it's just fun to work with, you know, and I did do a loop start, you know, just like I would with DMC. And so it was super fun. I enjoyed stitching. I actually also made the quilt, the Heartfelt quilt in that season. It's hanging in our foyer right now.
I just love how great these colors all pop together.
Yeah. So I went in my stash and I found, you know, this is a Bonnie and Camille, bright lime green, and then a red from Fig Tree that I just, you know, this matches my vibe. I do a lot of Bonnie and Camille and Fig Tree fabrics in my, you know, like my totes and everything. So anyway, I love them. I love them very much. And it's nice to have finishes of these pieces so that I can enjoy them, so that I can actually see them instead of them languishing in a drawer, somewhere. So those are fun.
So if you have a big finish that you're not sure what to do with, this is your sign. Make yourself a project bag.
Right, and if it's a smaller finish, like I have another piece that I've had laying around waiting is Blackbird. You may be familiar with it. It is a piece by Blackbird Designs, but it's just a monochromatic. You stitch it with like a chocolatey brown color on a darker linen. It's very pretty. And I've had it set aside with some Blackbird fabric to put in the center of a project bag for months. And I just haven't done that one yet. So, I mean, you know, so it doesn't have to be a big finish. You can also just center them, you know, put some frames around them. In fact, I saw that Sarah, on Sarah's Stitchy Spot had just done that with her blessing sampler. She put her January blessing sampler on the front of a project bag. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, I have a couple of things that I finished, not nearly as impressively, but I went through and found my Satsuma Street ornaments that I've been working on. We have in our next Stitch East that is planned for this October, an ornament is the theme of our smalls exchange. So I haven't decided if these are going to be ones that I, you know, participate in the exchange with. But if you'll remember, I had a little Christmas ornament and a little Halloween ornament that I had stitched up. I finished these just by using some Aleene's tacky glue and felt, not wool felt, regular old cheap felt. And it dries so clear that it doesn't really matter at all what color you use. But I love how these turned out. Like they've got that nice glitter from the sequins and beads there. They just are happy. So my plan to be able to hang them up is I'm going to take a length of ribbon and hot glue a button
Sure.
with the ribbon.
Yeah, that'll be very cute.
So hopefully, because I enjoy these kind of small finishes, I'll be able to make enough ornaments that we can have both a Halloween tree and then Christmas ornaments.
Yeah, and we have several kits. I noticed that Rachel at Treehouse Fiber Arts sells the Satsuma kits quite frequently, so you can check there. They're kitted with everything you need in, you know, the pattern and then all the sequins and beads and, you know.
And I will tell you, to get a very nice edge to these kind of ornaments, you want to glue your felt on while it's still the big piece of perforated paper that you've worked on. Make sure that your glue goes through and touches all the parts of the stitching all the way to the edges, and then let that dry. And once it's dried, you can come back with either an X-Acto knife or sharp scissors and just carefully cut around your design. You want to make sure that you never cut into the same square where you have a stitch, so that there's paper protecting it from unraveling all the way around. So you got to have a little bit of a border, but it is very straightforward. I just did this while I was waiting for glue to dry on Mom's pieces.
Nice.
So
That's great.
it was perfect.
Yep.
All right, so those are those two. And then this was sort of a weird finish for me, but these are designs by Primrose Cottage, and I had stitched them back in February. This one is Toadstool Kisses. It's just got the little frogs on the mushrooms, and it says Hugs and Kisses. And then I decided, wouldn't it be cool if I had a double-sided finish? So I did this on one side, and on the other side, I did their same, they came up with the patterns at the same time. So it's same colors and everything, but this one's the Happy Valentine's Day. So my plan is, again, I'm just going to do a button and ribbon on the corners here so that I can have this hanging and then flip it whenever I want to for the seasonal appropriateness.
Sure, because Hugs and Kisses are year-round, but Valentine's Day is, you know, a day.
Yeah, right.
Which, I mean, you can decorate for Valentine's Day in early February and leave it up even to the middle of the month, but
all of the fabrics and edging were part of the finishing kit that came with the Primrose Cottage designs. So it was very easy to finish. The fabric I've got on here, I literally just cut a piece of board bigger than my Valentine's Day piece so that I could do, what do you call it again when you fold your
mitered.
fabric? So I could do mitered edges on one side and hide where all of it comes together under my longer board. So this side was just smooth, pretty fabric, and it was very easy to center this guy on there. So this was one of the finishes that I had when we were at Barefoot Needle Arts.
Oh, nice.
So I fully finished it, and I am very, very pleased.
Yes.
The rickrack turned out so cute. The pom-poms are so cute.
Yes, that's wonderful.
It's adorable.
Yep.
Yep. Just a happy little finish.
That's great.
I think that's all my finishes, apart from yarn-related things.
Okay, and me too, apart from quilt-related things.
Nice.
So I guess we can move on into our whips.
Yes, let's do that.
Amazing. All right.
I've only started 3 new things since I talked to you guys.
Yes, yes. And
I'm not even kidding, guys.
so I'm going to lead with this one just because, but you guys remember I got this great bag from Sarah at Penelope's Pocket, and I love it so much. So immediately, all right, I finished his eyes on the Sparrow. Mm-hmm. I had done nearly 11,000 stitches in 8 days. Mm-hmm. I worked on a couple of smalls, like, let's see what I did work on. I worked on actually a particular piece that I'm going to show you in a minute. And then I thought, you know what? I'm ready to start Consider the Lilies. And
now that his
so
eyes on the Sparrow is done.
I waited 2 days before I pulled out another piece of Dirty Teacup that is a 1/2 yard of fabric. And I started, oh my gosh, Consider the Lilies.
Oh, you got a great start too.
Yes. And so here's the thing, and I say this all the time and people think I'm weird, but I don't consider a piece actually started until I hit the 10% point. At any point less than 10%, if I go, you know, I'm not feeling it. I'm not loving this linen. I'm not enjoying the floss. It's just not singing for me. I can put it back in the bag and put it away with absolutely no whip guilt, because I feel like that's just a kit. You know, even if I've got 4% in it, it's just a kit. I may or may not ever work on that again. I might just pull everything out of there. But I made it to 10.15%. I've done 5,300 stitches.
Wow.
This one, on the other hand, is a little bigger, a few more stitches than Sparrow. It's the same size finish. I started it a little differently. I learned some things with Sparrow. You know, it wasn't quite centered on the linen the way I wanted it to be. So I actually centered this and did a top center start, and then it worked my way out. So I worked down to this flower and did the middle, you know, cartouche and put the two moths in. I'm going to work this one differently, I think, where I worked Sparrow basically down one side, and then months and months later, I'd work the complementary piece, you know, motif on the other side. I think I'm going to ping pong and mostly do, if I do a motif on this side, I'm going to go ahead and do its matching motif on the other side while I'm still familiar with the stitching. Mostly because the colors are different. So you see on these two moths, they're not colored the same. It's not truly a mirrored piece. It's, you know, this got the same shapes on each side, but the colors are changed. Even on the flowers and on the, you know, the bees and the bee scap, everything's just a slight different, like the two yellows might be reversed. So anyway, that's my plan. And, you know, of course, the flowers around the border change color as you go. There are like 3 or 4 different of these corally oranges, which is one of my very favorite colors. So,
And it looks gorgeous.
yeah. So I'm going to keep working on this. Again, I'm treating it like my leap day start. I'm working on it primarily on the 29th, 30th, and 31st of every month. I did, obviously, in April, jump ahead of that. But today is the 27th. I have something planned to work on today and tomorrow, and then I'm going to work on Consider the Lilies on the 29th and 30th of April. And then I have it planned again for the end of May. And I may work on it some more over the summer, but I'm really enjoying it. I did also go ahead and buy the new piece,
All Things Wise and Wonderful.
All Things Wise and Wonderful, but I have not, this was a yard of Dirty Teacup because I knew I wanted to be able to use it for these things. So when I cut it in half, I put the other half with All Things Wise and Wonderful, but I'm just going to wait until I finish Consider the Lilies. And then I'll start that one. So, but I'm just going to keep one of these big pieces going. I had too much fun. It's 36 count. It's easy for me to see. The stitch pattern is so rhythmic. I have the PDF. I'm waiting for the PDF. In fact, I checked last night to see if Heartstring Samplery had All Things Wise and Wonderful's PDF available.
Because you're stalking.
Because I'm ready. She told me it would be sometime after April 15th, and I believed her, and so I was looking, and it's not there yet. So I'll just keep watching.
Beth never lies, though.
No pressure, Beth. I've got plenty to do. I have another 45,000 stitches to stitch on Consider the Lilies, so that'll keep me busy. But I only waited 2 days before I started it, and I love it so much.
That's how you know it's a really great chart. You
That's
know,
right.
Like when you want to just keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's great.
All right.
I had, as soon as I finished Quilted Farm Girl, which I've been calling Quilted Farm Kid because, you know, it could go either way. I went right to my same bag that I was working out of, stitched by the amazing Lori Millsap. And in it, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to keep on keeping on. I had the classic Colorworks thread pack that Mom had given me for the Farmyard Friends chart.
Yeah, Fat Quarter Shop sent me those flosses for the stitch along, which is fantastic.
And guys, they're so pretty.
Yes.
Just amazing colors. I love, love, love them. I can show you in my book of days, I actually used up in its entirety 4 skeins of this fancy floss this month.
Wow.
2 in the Wild Oats, which is a white color, and then 1 of Black Coffee and 1 of Blushing Beauty.
Isn't that great?
And the reason for that is because the animals have a lot of black, white, and pink. It's a stack of Farmyard animals. So here's how far I've gotten.
Gosh. Could you look? I mean, is this ridiculous? This is a stitch along that started in April and is supposed to go until next March. I'm not thinking that this is going to go until next March for Mallory.
Well, no, probably not. Because I am really enjoying stitching. This is on Prim Even Weave. Again, one of my very favorite things to stitch on. The mistake that I made when I started this one was I did not do a perfect center start. I folded my fabric down and did not include the selvage edge, which I should have done. It would have made my pig a little bit more centered on this fabric, and then I wouldn't have a lot of excess at the bottom and a very tiny sliver up at the top. But I am glad that I have enough fabric here that I can at least get all of the motifs on, and I don't have to do any weird shuffling with the stars that are in the background to kind of smoosh everything in. None of that. I'm just going from the pattern. So it's been my brainless fill and stitch this while we're watching Marvel movies. We're still working through all of the chronology of the Marvel movies. So it's been a lot of fun and I can't put it down.
Yes, it's very beautiful.
It's so pretty. And for a while there, I was eating my vegetables by doing a strand of white before I would do any strand of color. Now I've gotten so much of the white finish that I'm able to just play with colors a lot. And that's super fun.
Yeah. So I'm guessing this will be a finish next time. Just,
Knowing how these things go.
That's right. She really just has the stars on the right-hand side of the chart to do.
Yes.
So,
but all of these stars on the left are finished. So,
exactly.
And I'm finished up to like the halfway mark under the cow here. So I'm going to call it 75% done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Pretty close to anyway. And I've been using the PDF for this to zoom in on the motifs, and that has been so enormously helpful because Lori Holt's chart uses, for example, the same symbol but rotates it. So it'll have a T and then a T on its side and then an upside down T and then a T on the other side. And so it's hard to get that kind of chart to read well in Markup RXP and the different pattern keeper programs. I have just had to save the PDF to my iPad and then open it using my library app. Zoom in all the way so I can see everything. I'm just using a highlighter tool just to mark off what I've done. It does not give me all the cool statistics, and I'm okay with that. I just want to be able to see what the symbols are. And it's really hard. Blushing Beauty and Black Coffee also were both stars. Black Coffee was a white star on a dark background, and Blushing Beauty was a black star on a pink background.
Oh my.
But,
okay.
Anyway, lovely. It's been so much fun to stitch up, and my little animals are so cute.
They are. They're adorable.
I talked about it last time. I did make some stitch changes to the cow, but for the rest of it, I've been working in pattern. I just added udders to my cow. I felt like she needed some teats, and I changed the way the shape of the tail ends here. On the original design, I could only see those grabbers that they use for picking up trash on the side of the road.
Yeah, it did have sort of a fork tail. Yeah.
So I gnashed it again and just
fixed it. Yeah, for your brain.
Exactly. Whenever you are thrown off by an element of your chart, don't let that restrict you. Have fun with it. But do it the way you want to do it.
That's right.
This is your art in the long run.
So I have two small samplers that I'm working on, kind of alternating in my beautiful vintage sewn folders from Julie at JulieJustSews on Instagram, and she has a Shopify shop, I think. One is Odile Francois 1887. Both of these charts came from the most recent red box from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. And so they're very small. I say very small. The stitch count on this one, I don't see right off the top. I see the size it's going to be on 36 count, but I don't see what the stitch count is. Anyway, you can see. It's not very big. But this one, because I have it on 36 count linen, it's easy for me to see. This is Odile Francois. And this nice repetitive red border and this alphabet are really fun to stitch. So I've been taking this with me to Flossy Floozies, which is our local group that meets once a month to stitch together. And it's something that I can stitch on while I talk to other people. So I worked on it at Stitch East, and then I worked on it at Flossy Floozies. And I really haven't gotten any other, but this bottom border is equally repetitive. this border is a repeat, this border is a repeat, you know, so I have some options. And the light colored ground fabric, I chose Fox and Rabbit Sandcastle, which I just happen to have in my stash. There's actually a misprint on the chart that says, yeah, sandstone, but it really was stitched on Sandcastle, which
so
makes it was just a typo. And so that made me so happy that I had Sandcastle in my stash. I went, well, I don't have sandstone, but I have Sandcastle. I guess that'll have to do. And then it's the right one.
And then it was the right one.
So that was a nice thing. And I've got some floss drops from Karen Z, which it was so funny. I told Karen that I was using her floss drops and that I had mentioned her on FlossTube. And she said, I think your FlossTube may be the first time my floss drops have ever been shown on a FlossTube. So that was kind of fun. And then I even have, I tossed in an extra one because initially I was missing color 21, and my friend Kara, who's Pink Daisy Stitch, I pulled one of her flosses to replace the one I had, you know, I thought I would use and I'm not using. So anyway, it's great. I love these colors. It's all DMC. One of the best things about Hands Across the Sea samplers charts is you certainly can use 100.3s. You certainly can use a Veriswa, but you can also do them very affordably with DMC because the colors are such a good match.
That's great.
So I started this one before I was willing to wait for flosses to be delivered, and I did it with DMC. And then the other one that I have here that I'm sort of alternating between these two to work on, in fact, this one's still in a hoop, and I'm not going to take the hoop off of it, is Molly Stone. And Molly is a small sampler. She's only this big. She's so sweet and covered in all these little tiny bright color animals and motifs. I finished the Bible this month, and I put in this altar, so I was working with those dark colors. But she is a beautiful little chart, and I did order the 103s for her. There were 2 colors of 103 that are out of stock pretty much everywhere. The 103 silks come on a spool like this, and they're a single strand, so you just pull off what you want and clip it and stitch with it, which is great. And so I just keep mine in my pocket here. And then there were 2 colors that were out, and I ordered the Veriswa for those 2 colors. So I'm keeping those just in little you know, floss away bags.
Can you pull out the 103 spool again?
Uh-huh.
I haven't actually seen one of these in person.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yep, here it is.
Okay, so what's weird is every time I've heard you say 103, I was picturing 103.
No, it's 100.3.
It's 100.3, and the way that it's printed on here, it looks like 1,003.
It does.
Yeah.
And so the rest of the story, let's see if I can find an end on this one. I don't have my glasses on, so it may be tucked. Yeah, I don't think I've stitched with this color yet, so it's tucked. So the end of the caps pop up, and you can wind your silk in there to keep them from unraveling. Yeah, there it goes.
Oh, that's good.
And so they come really wound on there, like they don't want it to get away. Like
Sure.
It is not going anywhere. And then sometimes with overuse, these little caps will break. So I tend to, once I've opened a silk, I don't rewind it back in there. I don't actually care. By the time you just wrap silk is a strong fiber. It is one of the toughest there is. So I just wind it back on and leave it just like that. And then just sort of feel for my end and clip what I want. So this color green is, they're numbered. So this is 718. It doesn't have a name. And then it comes on, and it is 100.3 is an Veriswa silk, but when they are out of that color, then I ordered the Soie d'Alger, which is a little different way of delivering the silk. Soie d'Alger is a little thicker, but not significantly so. It's a multi-strand silk, so you clip a piece and then separate it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's so cool. Guys, I learned something today.
Okay.
Smarter every day.
That's right. We try to be. So, and I did wrap this hoop to give it a little tighter drum, but also then I don't like it real tight. So I'm not sure how much longer I'll use that hoop.
That's funny.
I know. I just wanted to try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I had another new start. Because, you know, I don't have enough to do. But this is that same, not actually cross-stitch fabric that I decided I was going to continue working on. I am now working on the larger part, Autumn Basket by Primrose Cottage. And I had already gotten all of my colors. My DMC threads were on the beautiful floss drops that they sent with this kit. It comes with a finishing board in the oval shape that you need, as well as all of the fabrics and wools that you're going to need. I took a couple stickers and stuck them into my book when I started this on the 16th. But this is where I finished a small last time. And this is where I'm working on, oh, that's a needle. Yep. All right. And this is where I'm working on Autumn Basket.
Oh, that's going to be so pretty.
Yes. I'm really pleased with it. It's just super cute and it's an easy stitch. So I was having a bad brain day and I needed something I just didn't really need to think about too much. And so I grabbed this and was like, yes, this is restful. I like it.
And again, this fabric is not Jobelin or what's the one that starts with an L? I don't remember. Linda. It's not Linda fabric.
Listen, Linda.
I know. And it's not, you know, just a typical Lugana.
Yeah.
It is a strange, it's a woven fabric. So she's able to find holes, but.
Yes.
And it is kind of square. It seems to be an even weave.
It is an even weave. This is where my husband did an over one, Legend of Zelda start many, many years ago, and then decided that that's too hard to see and threw it down. But I found the fabric when I was going through my stash and went, why not?
Why not,
Why
indeed?
not? It reminds me almost of burlap, but it's definitely smoother and softer.
Right. Yeah. It has a rougher feel, though, than Lugana.
Right.
Yeah.
But I left myself lots of room around the edges of these because I love the way that they did their little pillow finishes. The other one from this same kit is Happy Harvest. And then I don't know where I put the pattern for this little guy, but it's a little pillow finish as well. So eventually I will have a whole set of these that can go up. And maybe I can even decorate with them this autumn.
That'll be great.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of this was in the kit that Sarah gave me.
Yes, when we went to Barefoot Needle Art Retreat, we sat at the table with Sarah, and Sarah had several things that she was going to put on the free table that she didn't think she would stitch, and one of them was this full kit. So it was from one of the Sip and Stitch boxes, I think.
It perfectly matches the bag that Mom had already made for me.
There you go.
Like,
so that's
it was
great.
meant to be.
All right, so next we have my Quilted Farm Girl. You will see a slight difference. This month I put 228 stitches into my Quilted Farm Girl. Also wrapped this hoop, but she got the cherries and I started putting some colors in on her skirt. I still haven't done what I need to do about this arm, and I'm just, when I feel like picking her up, I work on her a little bit. So that's where she is. Now, I did go ahead and start Farmyard Friends as well, but it's an embarrassingly small start.
No.
It is the bottom belly of the sheep. Because again, and I'm doing this one on gray spinel. Both of these are on 40 count. This is the other half of that piece of Pemberley. And this is gray spinel 40 count.
Size from here?
Yeah, look at the difference. Look how teeny she is on 40 count. She's so small.
She's so cute.
Yes. So, but my plan is very different. I'm not going to fully stitch this out as the whole chart. I'm going to make her into a little stand-up. I'm going to make each of the animals into separate little stand-up. And I love this gray spinel as the background for the animals. I thought it was really pretty. Fat Quarter Shop sent me that, and I thought it was a beautiful choice.
It is lovely.
So, anyway, I'm just going to keep working on them. My plan is to have a play set. It'll probably be for my great-grandchildren, because when I said that to my grandchildren, they were like, oh, if we were 10 years younger, that would be fun. I said, yeah, you're right, if you were.
And instead, my oldest is starting high school soon.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Crazy.
It's not okay. All right. I had a new start and a restart. from similar projects. So remember I had started Blueberry J and was intending to gift it to my sweet little gumdrop, who is my youngest. This is a pattern by Jessica Doise. I had actually just punched big old holes into the pattern picture and put my pattern symbols on the back so that I could make this my key card for all of my colors, which worked at the time. As I'm going back to it, I realized that my lengths are like twice as long as they need to be.
Oh.
So I've been making a change as I work on it. But I was stitching this on slate linen. Here it is. And had gotten so far into page 1 when I realized, uh-oh, I've miscounted on my berry basket. And also, I'm dreading picking this up. And it's just something to do with working the stitches onto this linen. I was ending up with fat crosses, skinny crosses here and there, and I wasn't enjoying it. And you know, when you put so much effort into a project, you're just like, oh, I don't want to give up. But at the same time, I want to have good associations with the piece that I'm making.
Right. The process of stitching is as important, if not more so, than the final product. Like, I will be the first to say, having his eyes on the Sparrow finished is not just the little dopamine hits that I got all along the way of finishing a motif. It's a massive, like, by the time 1,500 people have liked a picture and you've picked up 300 new followers on social media, all the things that they said in the Facebook movie are true, and you begin to think, wow, I did something great, you know, and this is a good feeling.
It's a good
and
feeling.
Even without the social media part of it, just having it hanging there as a finished object is great. Mm-hmm. But I missed the process, and I had to start consider the lilies because the tactile feel of working on Dirty Teacup
is so
and
fun.
yes, it is so appealing to me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I have plenty of pieces that I don't love the linen, and like I don't love the floss.
I'm not scared of a dark brown fabric. You saw my black Ada finish,
right? Yeah,
but
she's
there was
not.
something about working this in like the quiet of my bedroom, because I couldn't even spend time in a public area of the house where people would walk by and talk to me, because it was such a difficult chart to follow that I was having to have complete quiet to myself so that I could count out my stitches.
Sure.
And so that wasn't doing it for me.
Right.
So what I ended up doing is I had bought a piece of fabric when we were at Barefoot Needle Arts in February that I intended to use for Cherry Magpie, which is the companion piece to Blueberry J and the one that I'm going to be stitching for my older daughter. And it's lovely. So I had picked out this very pretty fabric that was had some pinks to it. It's not the called for fabric. Obviously, this is on Ada. But what I ended up doing was I split the Ada down the middle. And so half of it I've dedicated to Cherry Magpie. This is my new start for Cherry Magpie. And the other half I restarted Blueberry J. And they're going to match so adorably.
Oh my goodness. And this was all one piece of Ada?
This was one piece of fabric. And I've now put in a couple of yards of DMC to both of them, but you can see it's just, they're going to be so nice together.
Absolutely.
I was also a little discouraged because with this new start, I miscounted the berry basket again.
Oh.
Had to take it out entirely and restitch it. But the problem was I didn't realize my working copy that I've been marking up with a highlighter had one entire column of stitches missing, where the printer just cut off a column of stitches. And so having figured that out, I'm in a better place now.
Did you make a new working copy, or are you working from the original
I'm
chart?
still working from the one that I have, but I just know now that it's sneaky.
And so you have to pull out the original chart to get it?
Yeah. So I am really thoroughly enjoying it so much more now.
And is this regular 14 count Ada?
This is 14 count Ada, overdyed. I don't remember what the color name was. It was something fun. Sugar Plum Spruce.
Sugar Plum Spruce. It's by Barefoot?
Yep, it's a Barefoot Needle Arts overdye fabric. And I've been able to use the project cards that you ordered for us.
Oh, I completely forgot to talk about those. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you have that on there, because I don't think I have a chart that I've got the new project cards on yet. Okay, so look at this. Is this not amazing? I posted this on our Stitching on Island Time page because I on our Instagram page. So I want you to see it there if you want to see it closer. But this is my grandmother Tucker. She is my mother's grandmother. So she is my great grandmother, 2 greats to Mallory, 3 greats to the grandgirls. She's wonderful, wonderful. So she was a phenomenal needleworker and taught my mother to sew. And my Aunt Lois, who is my mother's first cousin, and my mother often talk about what a Pennsylvania Dutch precisionist she was, that they would, if they were off on a seam, nope, you'll have to take that seam out and do it again, do it again, do it right, do it again, do it right. But so she did a lot of crewel embroidery. And this is a marvelous picture that we have of her sitting in her favorite chair working her crewel work. And I just decided, I want fabric cards, project cards that have meaningful pictures for us. So we this is Grandmother Tucker. I just had them put Stitching on Island Time, Project Fabric, and started, and then FlossTube Instagram and Gmail, all the same, Stitching on Island Time, so that we can also share these when we go to stitching events and give you guys some project cards. So this is Grandmother Tucker, and then I have another one that maybe will show up. I may have Mama's on something else, but anyway. Just
so
wonderful.
I went ahead and made project tags while I was restarting for Blueberry J and starting for Cherry Magpie. I made matching project tags so I'd remember the fabric, remember when I started, all that good stuff.
That's great.
But I have, you want to put this back in there? I have right now this piece of linen with an almost entirely page 1 finish that I wasn't sure what to do with. And you had the brilliant idea. What about turning it into a strawberry?
Right. So the Erica Michaels 250, the America Berry, was a free chart that Erica Michaels gave away to shops who attended market this year. And it's available as a PDF download on the Fat Quarter Shop website. So if you are looking at, several people have stitched it. I know Tara has, Nicole Spohr has, a lot of people who are doing a better job of moving on into patriotic season have stitched it. But what's great about having a free pattern like that is that you could print it and just use, I'm going to flash it up here for you, just use the shape of it to make yourself a strawberry. Right. So Mallory is going to cut it out and make herself a strawberry with this leftover. My friend Chris, the camping stitcher, she's done that with all of her whips that she decided, it's not working for me anymore. She's just turned them into either pin cushions or strawberries, depending on what shape they are. And honestly, if they're a corner like this, they're perfect for a strawberry.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is just the right amount of stitching. And I'm really excited because I've noticed in my needlework lately is I love being able to just sit my needle down on a pin cushion. I'm not enjoying my needle minders. They're decorative, but I'm not enjoying putting my needle on a magnet because then I bump it and it's gone. So I've been enjoying my pin cushion that you got me that has my name on the piece of wood and the place to put your orts. And that's the perfect tool. But having a little pin cushion that matches for Cherry Magpie and Blueberry J is going to be just so sweet.
Yes,
so
that's fun.
I'm excited, and I'm enjoying it again.
Oh,
so
great.
sometimes taking that step, even if it is starting from a fresh place, is what you need.
Yeah, honestly, Chris is working on Consider the Lilies, and she started it years ago. And she didn't start on a vertical thread on her linen. And so she's fighting it every time she stitches on it. And she's mis-stitching, like getting 3 threads across instead of, or just 1 as she scoops, because her needle tip keeps wanting to default to a vertical thread. And she was talking about, do I restart it? Do I, what do I do? Most people recommended that she just correct. Because Consider the Lilies is similar to Sparrow, that things are floating. They're not connected. So you can be off a half stitch. In fact, I guarantee you there's a place where I'm off a half stitch.
Oh, I'm sure.
And have that whole,
we're human.
That whole thing
and we're
off
making
somewhere
things
else.
with our hands. We're not machines.
So I don't know what she's decided. She's probably not going to restart, but I have absolutely restarted some things because of that kind of an error, let alone you know, the bad feel with the linen or
Yeah,
whatever.
and mistakes happen. I try not to get too hard on myself. What I usually will do when I notice that there's been a mistake in a chart is I will put it in time out, and I will come back to it with fresh eyes and decide, is it something I can fudge, or is it really going to bother me? And then if it is, I tear it out.
Right.
But letting it rest and giving yourself a break from the
Oh, yeah.
realization of, oh no, I did this wrong, I feel like is incredibly helpful.
I do too.
Not to mention, sometimes I forget going back in and taking it out and fixing it. And so then it feels like the frog fairy came.
That's right. Yeah, I try not to put them away needing to be frogged. I try to frog before I put them away. Because
Time out and putting it away are two different things.
That's right. Okay, so this is Lucy Snoo Shawl. It's a new start for me. I just loved it. It's one that I was watching Brenda and Laura, and honestly, Laura said this. I was looking for Lucy Snoo Shawl to show you, and I couldn't even find it. So you should go look that one up. Instead, I brought this one. I don't even remember which one she showed instead because I went and found Lucy Snoo Shawl and loved it. So I ordered it, bought it, and I got a little start on it. I have a piece of one more reproduction that I ordered from Fat Quarter Shop. They're now carrying Be Stitch Me linen, which is great. So this is 40 count, one more reproduction, and I just have the smallest little start. But look how teeny and petite these little letters are. Isn't it sweet? And I love the border on this. It's very repetitive and has these teeny tiny little hearts in the border. And I love everything about this. I love the poem that's in the middle of this chart because it says a little health, a little wealth, a little house and freedom. And at the end, a little friend, a little cause to need him. And I just love it. I love everything about it. It's going to be a fun one to stitch. I'm just going to work on it as I'm
How does it
drawn.
look like it was made for that bag too?
Well, it's funny because this is such a 1970s goofy little bag.
I love it.
But I love this fabric line.
Right,
I love everything about
you're working
it.
on is the same color as the zipper.
That's true.
And it's bordered the whole way around with the same color orange.
That's
And I mean, like, it looks like it was made to go in there.
I know, but mostly I just did it because I like
That
this.
fabric's
This
fun.
fabric is
I
fun.
agree.
Yeah. So, okay. Do you have other whips?
That is all my whips and new starts.
Okay, I've got just 2 or 3 more. So this is a portfolio project keeper from Tiger Lily. And in it, I tucked all of the Primrose Cottage beach pieces. So I've gotten a nice start on Salty Kisses, which is one of the smaller ones from,
I love it.
and I just have a random little scrap of linen that is eggshell from Fiber on a Whim, and I decided I would just get this one started. It's called Salty Kisses, Sea Wishes and Salty Kisses, and I've got the words on there. And I bought that at our new local needlework shop.
We should show some of our haul from Southern Needle.
I will. This is the first thing I had as haul.
Yeah.
I had actually ordered from one place. This is relatively new. It didn't come out at market. It came out like the month before market. But I had ordered Salty Kisses and Beach Quaker. I had gotten those from somebody else. And then when we went to the Southern Needle, I was able to get Sea Sand and Stitching and then the full chart Beach Rules. And all 4 of these charts use the same colors of floss. So I'm just going to stitch through them. I'm not sure that I'll even start Beach Rules this year, but I do love it. Most of you know that we go to Ocracoke Island annually with our grandchildren and kids. And so we have a house that we're going to go spend another week. We plan to go over to Ocracoke on Mother's Day and be there through my 40th wedding anniversary. It's the 17th. So we're really excited about going back to Ocracoke. And so these beach pieces are just ones that I'll probably work on as backup, as small pieces that I can work on there in the evening
Fairly
while
easy
we're
to
watching
see.
movies. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's what they've been for, is sort of a transition piece between other things I've been working on. And then I've also gotten a lot of work on my American sampler this month. I did, you know, like 780 stitches. So that's a pretty good addition to it.
I forgot one of my.
Oh, good. I'm glad you'll have one to
Yep.
show. So what I've worked on is the house. So it's easy to rack up a bunch of stitches when you're doing block stitching. So I started laying in the shape of that house. And so, you know, by the time you fill in all those windows, you just get a lot of stitches.
Oh, yeah. Because it's solid.
Okay, so that's American Sampler. It's by Crochet A Go Go. I have it. It's in DMC, which is the Call for Floss. I have it on 36 count Salt Bush from Fox and Rabbit,
And it's
which
a
I think
great piece of fabric.
is a fantastic gray ground fabric for a piece that is a lot of red and white and then the blues. I just feel like it's a great
It's
color.
perfect because all the white shows up so nicely.
So that's American Sampler. Mallory found another one. So
Yeah,
we're gonna let her show.
I forgot this one because for Christmas on the 24th and 25th, I pulled out my Christmas project. Now, this is a Animal Cracker by Stacy Nash, and I did my own floss conversion for it because I wanted to pull from some fancies I already had. So some of them are DMC. This one, for example, is just B5200 for the white. But I'm stitching Sugar, which is actually one of the Christmas cookies. And so I've worked her on 18 count Ada, which is called Spooky Hollow Lighter. And I've gotten into page 2. So I had a page 1 finish that I showed you guys last time. Now she's into page 2. And look at her sweater.
It's so cute.
It's gonna be so good.
I love that you're able to go ahead and get her whole little reindeer on her sweater.
I got the reindeer in there. I got all the little floaty bits. So hopefully I'll be able to cover them as I stitch in the green and secure them a little bit better because there's lots of long floats on the back.
Sure. Yeah.
But I made a mistake because I was stitching the tail. Again, stitching while watching Marvel movies. Highly recommend, but not if you have to count. Because I got down to the tail and miscounted here. And so I ended up making the tail too short. The good news about that is it's a nice wide patch of black. So I was able to just widen it and fix it as I go.
That's great.
So I'm bringing the tail down, working across the little tummy area. I actually finished filling in the little tummy. That was fun. And she's just got a bunch of what looks like Fair Isle going across the bottom of the sweater.
That's going to be fun.
I'm totally going to use Fair Isle stitching method on the sweater that I'm making. I'm making myself a life-size sweater so that we can match.
That's fabulous.
And I think I have to make myself a skunk hat too, with little ears on it.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a given. That's a given.
Don't be silly. Of course I do.
Of course you do.
But that is, again, Sugar by Stacy Nash.
Okay.
She's been a lot of fun.
So this will be the weirdest thing that you've seen. So far, I feel like everything I work on are kind of what you would expect me to work on. But this one is called the Sea Apple. And it is like a project roll. It is a sewing roll. And so I've gotten so much done on it.
Oh my gosh, you have.
And so
Look at
you can
that.
see the verse at the top, and then there's more design that fills in here. A lot of anchors that I haven't stitched in here. And all around the whole edge, I've still got leaves to go and, you know, a lot of
Little
details
fruits
and
and,
more
yeah.
little animals and things. But then right around here, the chart turns upside down because when this is folded, this is the inside front, this is the back, and this is the flap that comes over and covers the stitching at the top. So this little whale flips over and covers this verse when the project is made into a bag.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's going to be really wonderful.
This is from A Gardener's Needle.
This is
Our friend Susan Robity.
Susan Robity of A Gardener's Needle. It's a huge chart, you know, like it has many, many pages. It's very easy to read. For example, here's the front half of a whale. It's very easy to read,
That's
but
great.
you know, it's just, here's the picture. I was looking, I knew I had it. So when you're finished with it, all one big piece, the back here has got the mermaids on either side that'll be under the coral tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
The underwater tree.
The underwater tree. That's right. The coral tree. I've already done the sea serpent that's there, which I think is
Tempting them.
great. And there's another sea serpent here. And
I just love it.
The sea apples that are in here, I've only stitched a couple of them, but I love like this shape right here. It kind of looks like Seymour from
Feed me, Seymour.
Yes. And so I love
Audrey too.
Yeah, I
from
love
Little Shop
Audrey
of Horrors.
too. That's right. And so, anyway, I am looking forward to having this one done. I kind of want to do a whole travel island time set. You know,
That would be so cool.
That's my plan.
All right, I gotta look at it folded here just so that I can get it in my head. All right, so that's the front, that's the back, and then the whale flips over. Oh, it's gonna be perfect.
Right. So
It's so cute.
yeah, I have rolled it up a few times. Let me see if I can do it. So like
Okay,
this.
so we're folding it.
Fold it in.
This is the origami segment of Stitching on Island Time.
That's right. I just want to make sure I get it far enough so you can actually
See the whale?
see the whale. And then same thing here. It goes like that. So that's like the front. There's its little flap that comes down and covers. And then here's the back. We'll have the coral and the mermaids on
love
the
it
back.
so much.
Isn't it great?
I love it
So
so
it's
much.
about this big. It'll hold my smallest hoop probably.
Right.
You know, the picture shows it with a hoop on the inside. I do enjoy working with a very small hoop sometimes.
You could make
so.
a quilted insert that has like a place for your scissors.
Absolutely.
Place for your
Yeah,
stem
I
ripper.
will line it. I'm not going to line it with this fabric, but you can see where if you had like a C, you know,
nice print.
a nice print with fish on it or something, or just a coral. I may find something that's in this hot pink color that's just like a batik that has
that'd be
like
lovely.
a coral kind of print.
Yeah,
so
that would be gorgeous.
that's my plan. Oh, and this linen, by the way, is Vicki Clayton linen that I ordered from her. It's the color The Wind Lies.
The Wind Lies. I love her linen color names.
I do too.
Very creative and very interesting.
Yep.
I love that.
All right. And then I have one more whip and then I'm done. And this was my Christmas piece this month.
Nice.
So I have been working on a Kathy Haberman Christmas piece, the Nativity one, a Jeanette Douglas Christmas piece, the little round dots, her Christmas dots.
Oh yeah, those are cute.
And then a Beth Twist heartstring samplery, big long countdown to Christmas piece that came from the Jingle Ball. I'm not making any traction on any of them. Like
it's not singing.
it was not. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull out my Christmas sampler and I'm just going to work on it. And that is what I've done. So I'm not taking it out of the frame because that's
silly. You can see it.
right. And so this month, what I was able to do was completely finish this tree and the two flowers that are under this tree. And then the background green I got done on this tree. I haven't done the darker green or the white dots and the red dots that are on there. And I brought the border down on both sides significantly. So, you know, I still have a few more things to do in those areas, but I love that I got this whole thing completely finished. So I actually put in 1,200 stitches in 2 days, and I'm at over 44% finished on my Christmas sampler. So
That house makes me so happy.
yeah, the house was a great accomplishment. I actually took this with me at Christmas and was working in a hoop as we traveled, you know, 'cause that's the best part about these particular frames. This one is, I actually have spare ends that Dennis made in his workshop. And so that's why I only have just regular, you know, what are these called? This kind
Wing nuts.
Wing nuts. Look at you go. Yeah.
I
So-
am my father's oldest son.
That's fair. This brand is Arabesca. I ordered it from Amazon, but it's like a combination of a Q-snap and a stretcher frame.
Yeah.
So it just has these plastic clips that there's a groove in the wood, and you literally can just clamp it in and out. So it's not a big deal to pull this out of the frame and work on it in a hoop instead if I want to. And sometimes I do that if I want to take it on a trip or something, or pull, if I've got another chart I want to put in here, I can
it just travels
change them
nicer.
out
Yeah.
as fast as you people change out Q-snaps.
That's right.
But I'm not a Q-snap stitcher. And so this one's nice because I can use my Elan lap frame and just pop it in there and then stitch while we're watching Marvel movies. And because it's in markup RXP, I can zoom right into things like, this weird counting that you have to do in this area is very tedious, but zoomed in on a PDF, it's not bad.
as bad. Yeah.
It's not as bad.
Speaking of Q-snaps and watching Marvel movies for your stitching, I want to put a couple of pictures of what my husband Mike has been stitching. He's not here for the episode, but he's been doing some phenomenal work on his charity piece. And so I'm just going to put a couple of photos in here. This is going to be finished as a card that is then going to be auctioned off for charity for Second Life. So it's exciting. He's been doing so well, and he's really enjoying the fancy floss on the back side of the card.
Yeah, he hasn't worked with a lot of fancy floss before. He's mostly a DMC guy, so yeah.
So between the color variegation in the colors on the back of the card and the fact that the white that he's using has a little bit of a luster to it, he said they look like little pearls. They were making him so happy. Like
That's
every
great.
individual stitch, he's like, look how pretty it is.
That's nice. That's really nice. This is my Christmas sampler. Because it's in the frame, I don't put the project in the bag, but I do have my Tilda project bag that my friend Carol at Fiber Antiquities on Etsy made, and I love it so much.
Carol's bags, or a selection of them, will also be available at the Southern Needle.
That's right. She has some bags for sale at the Southern Needle now. And then Christmas sampler, I'm working that on Sleeping Bear. So my old project tags that I had done for myself were, these simple ones that match my business cards. And then when I do things on project tags like this, I typically would put their symbol in the corner. And what I realized as I started doing symbols in the corners of these is like, oh, this is on markup. I don't need to have the symbol there because the number shows up automatically on markup. So that is great. It keeps me from being confused.
Yeah.
So anyway, and it's all DMC, which is awesome.
Fantastic. Okay. I had a little bit of haul I wanted to show off.
I have a small amount of haul. Before I do that though, I have one more project. And I'm going to put it out there because I would love some advice. This is in a keeper from Rika at House of Stitch and Stash. And I love it. I feel like it has a real summer beach vibe.
Oh, yeah.
And I took it with me last year on Ocracoke. And I think that was the last time until this week that this folder was opened.
Oh, wow.
So it's been almost a year. But I got this really great kit. And a lot of you guys have stitched it from Samplers Not Forgotten, and it's one of those hearts. Be still my heart hydrangea, and it came with everything, right? So I've got all the finishing stuff in here.
That's great. Ready
to turn it into exactly this finish. And I've seen several people finish it. My piece, it's stitched on gray, Weeks Gray, and that's okay. And I'm only this far because I worked on it. And it's 36 count. So it's, it's a kind of dark linen, but not impossible. Right. All right. But this is what's impossible. Let's see if it'll stay up there for you. I can't show you the chart.
Right. But
the threads came like this. They came in a wad, like a lot of kits do for Satsuma ornaments or dimensions kits or whatever.
I actually like how Satsuma does because they do like a little tie in the center and you can just pull one strand at a time out.
Right, but do they tell you color names? Do they give the colors
in the Satsuma Street ones? Yes.
Well, what they did here was white, bright green, dark variegated yellow green, gray green, pale green, medium green, and tan. And those are my colors. So this was very difficult for me. Maybe this is easy for some of you guys, but I agonized, and now it's been a year since I pulled this out. And like I said, I have a start. I was doing some things here, but I have no idea. Like, I'm not even sure about orientation. When I tried to match it, I went, well, that leaf's not going across where the heart is, so maybe I put it in the wrong spot.
Oh, no.
So I think I'm going to restart. I hope there's enough floss for a restart. I think I'm going to go into my DMC. I mean, like, this is variegated, so I know it's fancy floss.
Yeah, this one has some variegation too.
Right?
This one has mild, very mild.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess I can pull out my Weeks Dye Works box and see what colors these. Yeah, it says threads are Weeks Dye Works.
Okay.
So it does give me that. It just doesn't give me actual names of the Weeks Dye Works greens that are in the kit.
All right, so positive feedback. The kit came with everything you need.
Absolutely.
Except it's hard to tell which thread is which.
Right.
So keeping it on the Weeks Dye Works tag
Well, but they
would
don't.
have been incredibly helpful, and just charge for the full skeins.
Yeah, that would have made it very expensive. You know, that's the best part, is that they're separating out, you know, which is fine. And I get that. But anyway.
Or tag them somehow. I've seen where people do like label, like address label,
right,
just folded over a section, and you write the number or the name of the floss on it.
So I really would like to finish this.
Yes.
Like, I feel like this is a very small piece.
But now it's going to require decoding.
And it was too much mental math one night this week when I pulled it out, and I went, oh, that's why I've never finished this.
That's why.
That's why. And it's held a whole little hoop hostage this whole year, because I tucked it all away and went, nope. So, I mean, I have it sort of. I think I can figure it out. I will pull out my Weeks Dye Works box. And
I love this big piece of felt for that.
Yes,
though.
thank goodness. Like, that was the best part about Rika's folder for me for this, was that I was like, all right, but it's not like a different folder that just has a little corner. At least I can spread this out. Maybe I could even put like a tag here, because it doesn't matter if I consider this medium green or this medium green.
But you have to stay consistent.
As long as I'm consistent.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably gray green. This is medium green. That's
the yellow green.
That's the variegated yellow green.
So
this
that
is
makes
bright
that
green.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
see,
so then that's pale green.
That's pale green,
And
tan
pale
and
green,
white.
tan look very similar to each other.
They really do. And so when you pull a single strand and you have a needle threaded and you walk away.
Oh no. And then you come back and go,
was that light green, bright green, tan? Like, so again, I think I'm going to have to do some serious mental decoding.
Right.
To figure this one out. But
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But when your project requires that much effort on your part just to be doable, something could have been done differently at the kitting or chart stage.
Right. And I think it's worth knowing before you, I mean, this may not be the only one of these I own. I need to go look in my kit box and see if I've got a couple more of these stashed somewhere. I bought this at Stitch and Kitten.
Oh, wow.
Last April, and that's why I started it at Ocracoke in May. I thought, well, that'll be an easy thing. I can just tuck that in there, and that'll be a fun thing. So what we learned about our beach house last year was that it really didn't have the lighting that we need to be able to do, you know, dark fabric, ground fabrics, or and so we're going to fix that this year. We're going back to the same house. We're taking our own lights with us this time.
We learned.
You know, we're ready for what we're going to do. But yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to show that while I was at it. All right. So are we ready to show haul?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we're going to talk about a little bit of haul. You go ahead.
I have the best mom ever. And I'm sorry to those of you that are like, no, my mom's... No, I have the best mom ever. When I said how much I'm enjoying working on even weaves, she immediately went and bought me a set of these gorgeous even weaves. So this one is one more reproduction, 28 count Lugana, a 1/4 of a yard. I am really excited to use this one. It's just a lovely brown ground. This one is called Vintage, same count, 28 count, and I think that's the prettiest.
Yeah, it kind of
Pale
has a
pink.
little pink tone to it.
And then this is Not Another Sampler is the name of it. It's 32 count Lugana, and I think that's going to be really fun to work on. And by the way, I have no idea what I'm doing on any of these yet.
No, so I told you, Fat Quarter Shop now carries the Bestitch Me lines of fabrics. So you can buy linens from them in every count and also the even weaves. And so I did think, you know, having a couple of the prettier over dyed. Now, what she still needs to order for herself are some of the solid colors, like in every count.
Right.
Just to have a stash on hand so that she can start what she wants to start when she wants to start it.
Sure.
But, you know, she did some framing for me that took her 2 days. And so, and
I will take fabric as payment anytime.
And if I were the best mom, I could have ordered this and kept it for her birthday that's coming up in May.
This can count for birthday too. Winter Ash is the final color. And so these 4 colors have been gifted to me and I am so excited. I have some things that I got from the Southern Needle. I might actually be able to stitch on one of these. So I'll show that as part of haul. Stuff I got when we were at the...
Yeah, well, while we're showing fabric, I bought a 1/2 yard at the Southern Needle of this Mandy Didana frog gray. Frog gray, not fog.
Not fog.
Frog.
Frog.
And I thought it was fantastic. And I was going to get a fat quarter, and then when she rolled it out there to cut it, I was like, oh, no, just go ahead and give me a 1/2.
I want a 1/2. Never mind.
So,
wow.
Isn't that pretty?
It's so pretty.
And I just didn't have any Mandy Didana linen. Like, I went to the Southern Needle without a real game plan.
You at least had a list of flosses.
I did have some flosses I needed to kit out, but then, you know, I just kind of wanted to see what linens they carried. They had a lovely selection of linen. There were a lot of good choices. Now, they were robbed. They were raided that day, but I saw that on Monday they had that coming back up right away. So
that's amazing. Yeah. This is one of the things that I found at the Southern Needle that I had finished. I had finished picking out what I wanted. I had handed my stack of things to my sweet husband, and he was standing in line to buy them for me when I was chatting with some sweet ladies that I met there, and this one caught my eye. And I was like, ah, shoot, I need that too.
Nice.
But this is a Little House Needleworks chart called Spring ABCs. And I just fell in love with it because it's got all the alphabet coming all the way down. Some of the words are actually full words, but it ended with that little quilt. And I just thought, oh my gosh, we need that in our house. It's so cute. And
so
then,
this is a series from Little House. They have summer, fall, and winter as well.
But I picked up spring because aren't the colors amazing?
Yes.
And so it's all classic color works that I was able to pull while I was in the store, which was really fun. And I used this little bunny cabochon that you made.
Excellent.
And it's going in my Easter egg bag by Carol that I got at Stitch East. So it all just
That's fantastic. Kismet. So my phone was just ringing on my watch, and it was Carol who is leaving me a voicemail right now. Carol.
Sorry, Carol.
I will talk to you after we're finished filming. So that's funny.
That is funny.
She and I are going to road trip, I think, tomorrow.
Oh,
I think that's our plan. All right. So I got my copy of Plum Street America 250. Yay! Very excited that came. I ordered it in January. It came in April, so that's great. But I ordered the Vicki Clayton silks the same day that I ordered the chart, and they came in 3 days. So they have been sitting here in my stash since January, just patiently waiting.
Hoping.
So, 250, the called for fabric is 36 count smoky quartz, but since I have the Vicki Clayton silks, I'm probably going to work it on a 40 or 46 count, and I haven't chosen that from my stash yet, but I have some really good choices, so I will figure that out. For now, I'm not starting this one right away, I want to finish my American sampler from Crochet to Go-Go before I start another big piece like that.
Sure. There's nothing that says, I mean, it's to celebrate the country's 250th birthday, but there's nothing that says you have to stitch it this year.
Right.
You can
Well,
stitch it next year, year after.
I could do it as a birthday start.
Sure.
So I've thought about that, or even a July 4th start.
Yeah,
You know,
that'd be
and that would be
awesome.
fine. I also have patriotic pears. I ordered it from Christine at Hollis Hands Create on Etsy. I got a couple of things from her. Oh, I think those other 2 beach charts actually came from her as well. But it didn't come like in the nick for me to be able to participate with Nicole Spore's Stitch Along.
Okay.
But those are live always on Nicole's FlossTube, so you can always go back and watch her previous finishes of this. Tara Sullivan got them all stitched, but just last week on Tuesday night was the finish video that Nicole came out with on how to finish these.
Oh, that's great.
Which is wonderful. I did see that Stephanie, the New England stitcher, actually sells wooden templates for pear finishes that are based on the size linen you like to stitch on.
What?
So you can buy a template from her and then have, she had them at the Library Stitchers Retreat. People
Okay.
were buying them there. And I
That's
was
so cool. What a great idea.
I thought that was wonderful. So anyway, but I haven't yet stitched and finished a pair, and these seem like very reasonable ones to start with. So I'm probably going to tuck these into my Americana Mama's bag with pieces of fabric for them to be stitched on. I have a piece of Weeks Aztec Red linen, and I probably have a blue that I can, well, in fact, I know I do. In my beach bag, I've got where I started a piece, a beach comber from Lindy Stitches is on there, and the other half could have this blue.
Absolutely.
And then obviously
Well, whenever
got
you
that.
start stitching these pairs, please tell me, because I have some pairs that I haven't started yet either.
Okay.
That I bought from Dying to Stitch that I would love to stitch up at the same time.
Yeah, did you get the red ones or the blue ones?
Red works.
Okay. Because I also have spring green. You know, I told you I tried to start that. I did start it, and I didn't love my green. So I've got to do that again, another start. So, okay.
Well, here's a chart that I bought at the Southern Needle because Mom told me to.
I did. I handed this one to her, and I said, well, this one looks like you.
She's not wrong.
One of the girls at Fat Quarter Shop has this as a whip and had it on this last week's
wonderful.
video.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
I plan on making a couple of small changes to the chart to, you know, customize it to me.
Sure.
The typewriter doesn't make sense for me. I'm thinking some sugar cookies could go there.
Oh, yeah, that'd work.
And then making one of these cats solid black and one calico.
Yeah, because those are our front porch cats. Yeah, that makes sense.
But just little changes because she's amazing. Why would you change too much about her?
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
this is called The Book Goddess. It's a pattern by Tiny Modernist. I love their style. Like, all of their charts make me happy.
I agree. Okay, I think I showed all these patriotic pieces that I got from the attic last month. I just haven't done anything with them yet. I ordered the Fragments in Time pieces. They're small, and I'm going to tuck those in with my Americana Mama's chart with some linen for them, and then the patriotic peacemakers that are basically quilts that are done. This is the one that I can't wait to start. Then I'm going to tuck in with my sea glass. I'm sorry, sea apple.
Sea apple.
My sea apple, and do it in colors that are more similar to it.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
So I'm going to, you know,
Brighten it
have
up a little?
the needle book that is part of this and the pin cushion to match my sea apple set.
That is awesome. I love that.
And then I also have Worthy Patriot. I haven't started it yet. Again, with America 250 and Worthy Patriot, both of those, I'll probably wait until I, you know, make more progress on my American sampler.
Right. Well, here's another thing that I bought while we were at the Southern Needle. So this is in my project bag from Carol. She gifted this to me as a FlossTube anniversary present, which is just so sweet.
That is very
And I
sweet.
already had in the bag the Summer Quaker that I had started. I haven't put any more stitching into it, so I don't need to pull it out. but here's the other picture.
Oh, there you go. So this is our other project tag that we had printed. This is my mama. And so Mama is my grandmother, and she is my quilting grandmother. And what I love especially about this picture is that this quilt is very similar to the colors of the quilt that she made for me for my wedding. This is not my wedding quilt, but when I was a 19-year-old know-it-all and was getting married, my mama asked what I wanted her to give me for a wedding gift. And I said, I want you to make me a quilt. And she said, oh, honey, I hadn't quilted since I was a girl. And I said, well, then you probably need to remember how. Like, I didn't even back down at all. And so she is a good grandmother. And so she made me a wonderful quilt. I need to bring that and show that to you sometime because it's fabulous.
It is.
She was a traditional quilter. So she cut her templates out of cardboard and then hand pieced and hand quilted everything in a hoop in her lap. So this is
Look at that giant hoop.
I know.
love
This
it.
is just a picture of her later in life with she made a lot of Drunkard's Path. That was one of her favorite, and I did get her Drunkard's Path templates when she passed away. So, but I was very fortunate. Both of my grandmothers were still alive on my 50th birthday. So I had a nice long lifetime relationship with my grandmothers. And so this one I did, it's funny, I did the other one kind of fancy and this one kind of plain, but I had sort of a fancy great grandmother and a plainer grandmother. And so this just says Stitching on Island Time and then says Project Fabric and Started. So for us to use as a...
Planning on using the tag when I start this project. So this was one that I picked up while I was in the store at the Southern Needle. It's going to need a project card, so that's why I've got Mama pulled out. And I went ahead and kitted with the colors. So they didn't have all of the called for colors.
Okay.
So I made a couple small substitutions. I used crab cakes instead of Tennessee red clay.
It's very close.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got eaves leaves, that's called for. Cherry cobbler and hickory sticks, those are all called for. But cottage daisies is what I'm substituting for honeycomb because it was a nice bright yellow. I liked it better. I'm stitching with honeycomb in Farmyard Friends right now, and it's more of a deep, darker kind of yellow.
Yeah, it's a mustardy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this has a cabochon and little decorative piece made by my sweet husband. So it's got the little playing cards in it.
Oh, that's
it's
sweet.
so sweet.
I had a customer when I finished her quilt send me a 1-2-3 stitch gift card. Now, is that the sweetest tip that you could give a long arm quilter who's also a stitcher? I mean, that was so nice. So I ordered from 1-2-3 Stitch the new Remember Me chart from Blackbird Designs. And while I was at it, I got this In Full Bloom Blackbird quilt book. So this is their new cross-stitch book. It's wonderful. I think you've all seen it. It's got 9 charts. I'm not going to start it because what you've seen conspicuously absent all year long is my Anniversaries of the Heart for last year. I'm going to, only work on Anniversaries of the Heart before I'd start something like this. But this is a fabulous book. It's got a lot of applique patterns that look like things like that. And I think that will be a lot of fun to work on. So I bought those.
Beautiful.
And then do you have more haul?
I think that's it. That's not true. Also got these little bags that I'm planning to do little tiny cross-stitch motifs onto.
Okay, they're kind of like burlap.
They're like burlap, exactly, but I went, ooh, that could be cross-stitched onto. And so they were cheap little, we went to a little witchy shop after we went to the Southern Needle.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a fun idea. Let's do that. So
Okay.
I bought myself some little bags.
Well, one of my favorite things at this year's market were the platitudes. And so I finally found a place to order the platitude charts. It's Millennial Fabrics, who I already get thread from every month.
Nice.
But so Fox and Rabbit's chart is on the front, so I'm going to put my hand like this. But it's these 2 charts. One says, please don't bother me, I have enough on my plate. And the other one says, emotionally attached to fictional characters.
With little dragons.
With little
flying above the
dragons,
book.
which
Are you
I
kidding me?
loved. I also loved the heartstring samplery platitudes that said, not today, please leave by 9, and Alexa do the laundry.
I like that one.
I wish Alexa was doing laundry right
That's
now.
surreal, right?
But I did start a load of laundry before we sat down to film, so I'll tend to that. I love this tiny modernist one. I'll probably hand it over to Mallory to do because it's really her vibe, but it's Peace, Love, and Cross Stitch. It's her colors, you know, like
so
that's
cute.
very much her. But I thought it was really sweet. And then this one is Productivity Pending from my sister's samplers. It says the trees were green, the sun was hot. Sometimes I worked and sometimes not. And that is the way I feel every summer.
Yes.
Every
Yes.
summer, productivity pending.
Yes.
It's
nice and cool today. We had a
It
cold front
is.
come through, but it's going to get blistering again.
But I loved this one, and this one is one I may do first. Like I can
It's
see
so cute.
it's monochromatic, it's very reasonably sized, it all fits on this, you know, and it's all words, and I love stitching words. So
Yes.
so that might be the one I do first. Okay, well let's do that. Let's talk about our other hobbies now. That was all our haul, and then in the end we'll talk about the plans coming up.
But that was it for cross stitch related. So if that's all you were here for, we'll see you next time.
That's right.
And if you're here for it all,
there
stick
you go.
around.
That's right. Stick around. Okay, so I had a good bit of quilting that I did.
Yeah, you did.
Not just this, but
this was just a bonus.
that was a bonus quilt that I just tossed in. So I participated in the Simply Sweet Sew Along with Fat Quarter Shop. It's a quilt that was designed by Lori Holt, but we made it into a table runner. So we had 6 blocks in a row with a nice little border, and I got that completely finished and on my wall. And so I've got a picture of where it's hanging in the house on my Instagram.
And then this is so long that we're just going to have to like bring it by.
That's
so that
right.
You can see.
It's 20 inches
just
wide.
Keeps going.
And it's 6 feet long.
Where did Lori and Mallory go?
That's right. It's 6 feet long.
Here, I'll hold this part.
Okay.
You can tell us about it.
So it's the new Berry and Sage line of fabric from Lori Holt for Riley Blake Fabrics. And it's, you know, you choose from a fat quarter bundle and a half yard bundle of the background prints. I have to say that this background print is my absolute favorite. I just love it so much. It's got the cutest things printed on it, and it's just the sage green on cream. I think she calls this color cream linen, so this matches her linen background fabrics. But I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed doing the rickrack around the edge, the vintage trim. I've not done that before. Farmhouse decor is not really, I'm a more traditional quilter. I just don't do a lot of the Lori Holt quilts exactly as designed. I use a lot of Lori Holt fabric. I love her Christmas lines of fabric. I love all her colors, but I tend to incorporate them in with lots of other colors. And so I don't make just an exclusive, like this is a whole Lori Holt pattern and colors very often. I have done it before, but this was super fun. I quilted it with a Baptist fan, which is what I quilted this one with too.
That's
so,
right.
you know, it's just a great overall even coverage. It doesn't distract from, you know, the piecing, which I like. And I actually went up to my stash and found a fabric for the back, and look at these buttons. Like, I thought they were
so
wonderful. And what I've done with this piece, what I decided to do with it is I have it hanging on the wall above a double door that we have leaving our dining room area going out into the sunroom.
It's perfect there.
Yeah, it's perfect there. It's a little too wide and a little too long for my actual dining room table.
Right.
And, you know, and we eat a lot of meals at that table. You know, some people decorate a dining room table and we just eat there.
Yeah.
So,
We're real good at that.
yeah. So there you go. That is the Simply Sweet Sew Along with Fat Quarter Shop. You can still get the Berry and Sage fabrics. The pattern is available as a PDF download. The free pattern for the sew along is there, but you have to have the full quilt pattern, and so you'll have to buy this one and download it, and then you can download the information on the table runner.
Yeah. Okay. This is one that I finished yesterday. This has been a month-long project. This is a prayer shawl. It is knitted out of Karen's Simply Soft Cloud Cakes. The cloud cake comes where it just changes color as you're working, so I didn't have to change color anywhere here. The yarn did that for me. So it's a magic thing that I just grow along the edge, and I just do 1 increase per row, and it just gets bigger and bigger until it grows to be what it wants to be when it grows up. This one had a really annoying manufacturer's knot, and you can see it right there where I had to then weave my ends and do duplicate stitching. Because this yarn is a polyester blend, it does not hide amongst itself well.
Right.
So whenever there's a manufacturer knot like that in yarn like this, I always go, really? You shouldn't be selling this.
Right.
You ruined it, you know, but
Right.
it's okay. I did an I-cord edge cast off to match my I-cord edge on the sides.
It's lovely. That really helps it hold its shape very nicely. It is ridiculously soft.
It is very soft.
It is so soft.
The cloud cake is really nice for that reason. So it will be a snuggly comfort item for somebody in need, because I don't know who this is for, but I pray into every stitch. So whoever it's for, they will love it.
The prayer shawl ministry at our church is really lovely. They get together and stitch, so it's great. It's like, you know, any other cross-stitch group or knitting group or whatever. But as they produce items, they, you know, put a cross on them usually, and they've all prayed about it, and then they're available to be gifted as there's need, which is really nice.
In fact, our prayer shawl ministry has a new project that we're working on together. We have a pastor who's retiring. And so I put out a call to everybody that stitches in our church and said, hi, if you would like to, I would love for you to contribute to making a blanket for him. And I'm just asking for 5-inch squares. So it doesn't matter if they're knitted, crocheted, I will make it work and sway into a blanket. And it's going to be beautiful and scrappy because everybody's using their stash yarn.
That's
so it's going to be all colors, and joining it with his favorite color, gray.
That's great.
So we've got that going on. I actually saw that we have over 10 squares sitting waiting for me yesterday. So
Fantastic.
everybody's made a good start, and we've got a full month to do it. So I'm
That's
excited. It's
awesome.
going to actually happen.
So, as I mentioned earlier, this quilt was a bonus quilt from the Designer Mystery 2025. I thought I would bring some of those blocks to show you. So the Designer Mystery are always 12-inch finished blocks, and then the pieces that are around the outside edge of this are the setting pieces for this quilt. So
this
here's
is 12 inches.
That's a 12-inch
Okay.
block in the center, and then they frame out then to make this larger block.
That's
so that's one example, and they're sort of flowers this time. They've got the green leaf there on that block, and then it alternates with this gray. And this was the most recent block that we did. This was block 11.
It's gorgeous.
And yeah, and so that's, you know, just a couple of blocks. I have the first 11 made and framed out, and I've got my border pieces,
series?
and it's 12 blocks, a block of the month.
Yep.
So that's really fun. And then the other quilt that I'm working on right now is Socialites 3. Socialites 3 is a weekly block, and it's gonna look like, let's see if I've got the full picture in here. Yeah, sort of. All right, so you get to choose whatever fabrics you want to make a quilt that's going to look like this. They finish 63 by 63 if you make them exactly like this and do the 9-inch blocks, which is what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm going to actually make mine 2 rows longer and make some extra blocks so that it's rectangular and is 63 by 81. Okay. But they do tell you in this one, you're not surprised. You know what blocks are coming. You see in the printout everything that's been designed and who it's by. So for a lot of experienced quilt makers, they're jumping ahead and planning out and maybe even going ahead and making it, because, you know, quilt math is mostly arithmetic. And when you have experience in making a quilt block, then you don't need, you know, customized step-by-step cutting instructions. On the other hand, if you're a new quilter, the blocks are free downloads. They tell you exactly what sizes to cut the pieces for a 3-inch, 6-inch, or 9-inch block every month.
That's great.
And so you get to choose what size block you want to make, and then they give you really great step-by-step instructions on what to assemble first, what to trim the pieces to, how to put it all together.
That is
and
awesome.
So I've got 2 more to make, but I have been making the 9-inch blocks. So I think that might be block 8, and then 7, and then I guess it goes this way because I put my
Directional fabric.
the right way. I love this little house.
It's so cute. That one looks like a piece of candy.
I am using Fig Tree's autumnal fabrics. This is mostly pumpkins and blossoms, I think is the line. But, and then this plus fabric that I'm using as my background fabric was left over from a quilt project. I just had a lot of it, and I thought, and I think it came from Hobby Lobby, honestly, but I thought I would just use it up. So anyway, it's a fun project. It's all free, available for a download from Fat Quarter Shop, and you can jump in anytime. I was a good 6 weeks late getting started, and so I just cut a whole bunch and then just sewed. And I use, here I've got my board, I use these boards that I made myself, but Lori Holt sells her version of this, that it's a piece of foam core with a piece of batting, and then hers have like beautiful fabric strips hot glued around the outside edge. I use fancy duct tape. So this is cute duct tape that I then do not have to do any gluing. So, and it's just haphazardly on there. I sort of miter the corners, but I don't really care if they're perfectly mitered.
Right, because it's the back.
It's duct tape.
Yeah.
So, but it's really nice. And I ordered the 11 by 14 pieces of foam core already this size from in stacks of 10 or maybe even it's 20. From Amazon. They come in a box, and that way I don't have to do any cutting or trimming. I like the 11 by 14. Lori Holt's pieces come square, so you would get a 7 by 7 or a 14 by 14, which is a good size. But I like this size, and it's nice. Then I just stack them all up, with one block.
So that when you're in progress on a block, you've got all of its pieces on one board together.
Organized together.
That's
it's
so
really
smart.
nice. So,
That's so
and
smart.
some of you people are nice about using a board behind your work to show things, and we're terrible about that.
It's
but
impressive.
yes, it is impressive.
Another finish.
Yes.
I have socks.
Oh, those are great.
These socks fit my feet.
Oh, wow.
So unlike the ones that I made from the January colorway that ended up becoming gumdrops, these actually fit me, and they are so cute. And I was very pleased with how they turned out. The yarn is from Freckled Whimsy. It's part of the yarn of the month, sock yarn of the month that Mom got me as a Christmas present.
She's got one coming today.
I do. It's true.
No, for real. I got notification that's in the mail.
Awesome.
So
I had so much fun with this color palette though that, and then I wasn't able to actually finish the heel because we were sitting in a dentist's office and I forgot some of my tools at home. It's okay. So I thought I'll just play with this color a little bit more. And I cast on just like a 2x2 ribbing. And I was like, I'm just going to knit up a ribbing. Oh, it would be the cutest little fingerless glove for a gumdrop. They would love that. That's what I made. The 2x2 ribbing that I cast on with my crochet hook had the best opening stretch of all time. And I was like, oh, if I cast on this way with my next pair of socks, I can make it so much higher than just at my ankle. And so I started a new sock.
yay.
With that cast on method. And look at this. Ready? Woo.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah.
So it's got a fantastic stretch. That's going to be able to come up higher on my big girl leg. And I did 68 to start with, so did not decrease. I did 4 rows of color and then did a decrease. So then it was 64 for 4 rows, and now it's 60.
Okay.
So, and I'm doing 60 until it's long enough to close the toe, and then doing my exact same afterthought heel. I think on this one, I'm going to try an afterthought heel that has a heel flap. so that it has a little bit of a thicker fabric where your foot hits every time you step.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, just an idea. And this was the colorway from December. So you can see that I balled this up on my balling tool instead of hand balling it. And so the fibers have stayed nice and loose. I also had several false starts on this one because this is when I was trying to do toe up.
Oh.
And apparently I was toe up from the flow up because
that did not work
the
out.
toe
for you.
up, it's so nice and neat looking, right? But then it's so hard to tell how big it's going to end up being until I started knitting and went, well, that would fit a Sasquatch, but not me. And so I got to that far and went, you know what? And I cut the yarn and said, we're just going to start again. So if I end up needing this yarn, I can always steam it to relax it from this very kinky shape it's in from being knitted and use this yarn. But I think I might have enough just to do socks because it's amazing how much yarn they give you for these sock projects.
Yeah, Freckle Whimsy, these are, I think they're 80 grams in the stripe and then 20 grams in the
100 grams.
Oh, it's 100. Well, but I think that's the two things, right?
No, 100 grams and then mini
is
25 grams.
Okay, so that's more than you need.
It's way more than you need. And so it's why I was able to make a full pair of socks and fingerless glove for my youngest. But anyway, I'm having a blast. I'm thoroughly enjoying having a sock project going because it is mindless. I can pull it out and just go round and round and round and round and don't have to think about counting, can watch TV, don't even have to look at my hands most of the time.
That is great.
It is great. So that's been my little knitting I've been doing on the side. I have one more knitting project to show. All right, so I have one more knitting project to show. This is my Teresa Kogut bag that my friend Cheryl gifted to me. And I was trying to figure out where am I going to put the sweater that I'm knitting myself, a life-size sweater.
To match
like
Sugar
the skunk.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's a Christmas bag. That's perfect. So I've got all of my yarn for the whole project down in here, which is why it needs to be so big. But this is not quite one ball of yarn yet.
Oh, wow.
So one skein of yarn. Let's see if I can put it on here. And you can see where I've started doing the raglan increases that are going to go all the way to the underarm. So I'm still increasing. And the way that I keep track of that is actually, I'm slow of the brain.
You are not slow of the brain. She is incredibly quick of the brain.
I am slow of the brain. I will be halfway through a round and go, was I increasing or is this just a normal knit everything row? Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
So what I've started doing is I have a end of round marker. This is a green one. Green is for go. And I wrote the word go on it. And then when I hit that marker, I trade it out. The gray is for grow. So on the grow rows, I do increasing. And on the go row, I just knit all the way around.
Isn't that awesome?
So grow and go. And it keeps me straight because I'm telling you, like I'm mid-row and I'll go,
No, I get that.
Because it's a lot of stitches and it's easy to lose track. But I absolutely love the half hitch increase, which is what I've been doing on the lines here. And all I do is I work until there's 2 stitches to the marker. I do a half hitch increase and then knit 1, slip the marker, knit 1, and then do another half hitch increase. And it just makes a very nice, neat raglan increase. And it's got a little bit of texture to it. I like it. It's lovely and I love it. So it's coming along.
Okay, again, this sweater is not a pattern that she's following.
Correct.
She's just making this up.
Yes. And I'm almost done with a skein of yarn. So if I keep working on this while I'm editing today, I'll finish the skein of yarn.
Fantastic.
All right. But that was my progress that I wanted to show. The other thing that I've been working on with the sweater project is I was trying to learn intarsia. And so I did a lot of study work this month where I learned intarsia as a method. And my plan is to have the deer in the middle as mostly intarsia with like some duplicate stitching for the antlers.
Okay.
And then to do all of my Fair Isle color work at the bottom. So Fair Isle is where you hold more than one color at one time. And Tarja means that you put down your working yarn and pick up a new yarn. So you only ever work with one at a time. And it's about how you twist those yarns together so that you don't end up with gaps in between the two colors.
Right.
Right.
Right. Okay.
So it took some figuring, but I think I figured it.
That's great. Fantastic. Okay. So I think all that's left is to tell you our plans for the month of May. We've already told you we're going traveling off for a week, which is going to be great. But as far as stitching, you know, I had a lot of whips, but not as many as I sometimes do. Like sometimes I have a project in the morning and a project in the afternoon. And instead what I've kind of settled into is like 3 or 4 days in a row with one project.
Yeah.
So I think I was gonna do Market Mania with Jim and some of the rest of them, and start a new project from Market every Friday in May.
Ooh, fun.
And it sort of gave me
Anxiety?
yeah,
Oh,
a little
no.
bit, because I have all these other projects that I'm really loving and I want to finish. And I don't know if you knew this, but I have one set of hands and I can
What?
only stitch on one thing
I
at
thought
a
you were an
time.
octopus and you could stitch 4 things at once.
So I decided instead that I'm going to stitch a monogamish May.
Monogamish.
Not monogamous. I
Don't be
can't work
confused.
on one thing for 31 days. I might have, that's the other kind of anxiety. Like I couldn't do it. Not to mention that honestly, some of my projects, if I did work on for 31 days, like consider the lilies, clearly I could work on it for 31 days. I would make a whole lot of progress and I would not be finished.
Right.
So it's big enough. But I don't really want to do that in May. I want to make some progress on several of my pieces. So I'm going to work on 5 pieces that I pick up on the Friday, just like everybody else is doing for Mania. I'm going to pick them up on that Friday and I'm going to work on them for a week. And I'm just going to do 5 pieces that are current whips that I'm working on. So I chose American Sampler because I would like to have that closer to finished by July 4th.
Nice.
So if I work on it for a week in May, then probably a week, maybe even 2 weeks in June, and I could finish. Like it's not that big a piece. I mean, it's 30,000 stitches. It's a big piece, but
not tiny.
But it's not. You know, I've got a really good start on it already, so I could make a good headway.
Yeah.
Then there's the sea apple that I would love to have that fully finished, and we're going to the beach, so I want to be working on it at Ocracoke.
Yes, naturally.
And my Primrose Cottage beach pieces that I also want to be working on at Ocracoke. So that's what I'm going to work across those 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'll have Sea Apple for a week, and then I'll have my Primrose Cottage beach pieces. I'll finish Salty Kisses
Easily.
in a day. So I wanted to have the other ones too to pick up
And
during
it's all
that
the same
week.
palette. So
So
you just
that's
pick up the next.
less monogamous. I mean, you know, like that's, I might work on 3 things that week, but they're smalls and, you know, that'll
They're
be
from
fun.
the same family.
And then I was, at that point on my calendar, I wrote in Consider the Lilies. And then I went, oh, wait, though. The next Friday is the 29th.
Oh, so you should actually work on it like it's a leap day.
Right.
Start.
So I erased it. It does not get 7 days. It's going to get the 29th, 30th, and 31st. Maybe I'll work on it some more at the beginning of June. We'll see. But so then I put in peacorn.
Peacorn.
Because I feel like I love peacorn and I want to make more headway on it. And of course, peacorn is peacock, unicorn, and badger. I'm stitching it on the pub crawl fabric from Evertote with Vicki Clayton silks. I did actually get some stitches on it this month, but it wasn't enough progress. I think a full week on peacorn in May will be fun.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I put. So those are my 5 things. American Sampler, Sea Apple, my beach pieces from Primrose Cottage, peacorn, and Consider the Lilies. That's what I'm going to work on for the month of May.
Lovely. Well, I have my established dates in the calendar where I switched to Christmas. And so I went ahead and established the 5th for my gumdrop and the 23rd for my ginger snap to work on their bird projects because that's respectively their birth dates. Not the right month, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
And I decided for the month of May that I will also do Feathered Fridays, which means that I will pick up a project that includes a bird every Friday. So depending on if it's an even or odd, that'll help me to choose which one of the birds I'm working on, either
sure.
cherry magpie or blueberry jay. Since I have a 14-year-old that will get the even numbers and an 11-year-old that will get the odd numbers. But I am doing so many things right now that I really don't want to think about mania and starting new things.
Right. And that's where
'Cause
I was too.
I do that when the mood strikes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't strike every day and it doesn't strike every week. And I'm really enjoying what I'm working on.
Right.
So I just want to keep going.
Yeah, I'm in the same. So, you know, all that to say, one of the things I will also try to do when we are home in May, which we're home more than we're gone, but when we're home, maybe all of next week while I'm here, I do want to do a deep dive into my whips, because I know there are a lot of whips that I haven't touched yet this year that I would like to work on before the year's out. So I'm probably going to choose what I'm going to work on for Sampler September. Go ahead and pull those projects aside. And then look for any smalls that I could finish.
Yeah.
Because I've got several pieces that are, you know, easily with a week of work, I could finish them.
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing some traveling this summer. And so also things that are on 36 count and light colored fabrics. I want to make sure I've got those together because those are easier to take on trips.
Yes, for my birthday, May 25th, I have set that as the end date for everybody to get their 5-inch squares to me for our pastor's going away blanket. So for my birthday, I will be tucking a bajillion ends of yarn. I don't mind. It's fun. So I will be tucking all of the ends, and then I will join. What I do is I take all of the squares and I lay them out, and then I arrange them into some kind of appealing aesthetic. It's like the scene from A Beautiful Mind. I'm not actually physically there, like some other being comes and I see it all and I just make it happen. Like it's magic, right?
Yes.
So then once I've got it arranged the way I want it, I take a picture and I do one row at a time doing a continuous join method. I've done it for previous pastors. This will be my 4th blanket that I've made for church. But it means that my hands will be busy with a crochet hook. And I have cookie orders like crazy next month.
Yeah.
So I will be also baking and decorating cookies. So who knows how much stitching I'll have to show.
Right.
This was at least slow for cookies month for me, which is why you got to see lots of stitching.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So
I'll have cookie pictures to show, and we'll definitely show off the beautiful blocks made by my friends. And I think that's all I have for plans.
okay. You'll notice we didn't answer any questions today for the Q&A that we've promised you. So we're thinking that we're going to do our next video on Ocracoke. And we will answer your questions that you've asked us then and choose the winner of the gift certificate for that video. So if you would like to ask us any questions for our Q&A video that we're going to shoot on the island, you feel free to put them in the comments to this video as well as any that you've asked in the previous 2 videos. We're going to combine all of those together and choose from those questions a winner for the gift card. So if you guys would just do that, we are happy to answer anything about stitching, about, you know.
And feel free to ask anything. I mean, we're friends with you guys, and we'd like you to be able to know us a little bit. If you feel like it's an invasive question, we might choose not to answer it.
That's true.
But feel free to ask anything. What's the worst that happens? We say, that's TMI.
That's right.
You don't get to know that.
That's right. Then that's fine too.
We're chronic oversharers,
That's
so
fair.
we probably will tell you.
Probably will. In fact, let me share this one last little story because you guys will think this is great. So Saturday, I had signed my husband and I up to go to a United Methodist Church conference in Havelock that I had read about, you know, that it was a guest speaker and it was on self-care, and they were going to have a Mexican restaurant cater the lunch, and I thought, all that sounds fun. So I bought 2 tickets, signed us up, and off we went Saturday morning and drove down to Havelock. Only for me to discover as we arrived that it wasn't a United Methodist Church event. It was a United Women of Faith event. It was a women's conference. Now, there was one other woman that also made that mistake, and her husband was there too. But my sweet husband sat with me at a women's conference all day Saturday, enjoyed delicious Mexican food at lunch. It was phenomenal, and was a really good sport about the whole thing, and participated fully in all the activities that included things like learning to pray with color, and walking a labyrinth, and doing chair yoga, and just many self-care journaling ideas, doodling ideas. Anyway, he's a good guy.
He is.
But, you know, the idea that I took my chainsaw wielding, janky four-wheeler repairing dude to a women's conference, and it was quite girly.
He got in touch with his softer side.
He did. He's very secure in his masculinity. But
none of that toxic masculinity.
No,
right here.
none of that. And, you know, sometimes I'm Lucy, and sometimes I'm Ethel, and sometimes I'm both at the same time.
And sometimes I'm Ricky.
And sometimes that just kind of worked out. So, anyway, I also wanted to thank Beth, the Red Cross Stitcher, who mentioned us on her floss tube. Beth and I are stitching together A Savior's Praise.
That's right.
I didn't work on it since last time. I showed it in our previous video, but we are stitching along together. So don't have a plan to work on it in May, Beth. So if
you're planning to.
That's right. If you're planning to work on it in May, if you'll tell me when I'm supposed to work on it in May, I'll try to pick it up. Maybe that 7th day. Like at some point, my monogamish stuff may get on my nerves,
Maybe.
you know. So it might be 5 days, and then I need something else for a couple of days to break it up. So let me know if we're touching A Savior's Praise in May.
That sounds good.
Okay.
I'm actually a little jealous at how many cross-stitch friends you have that you have stitch-alongs with, and they're built-in accountability partners. You know, like everybody's working on the same thing.
Yeah, we have
That's
a great
idea. I'm really bad at following directions on stitch-alongs.
Yes. Yeah, she finishes
I'm my
them.
own problem.
Well,
I'm the problem.
yeah, but it's okay. I mean, stitching along, starting along is different from stitching along.
Yes.
I feel like Beth and I may have had a start along, but also we are going to keep plugging away, and we'll keep reminding each other to work on it.
Stitch at a time.
So, that's
we
right.
Get it done.
There you go. Thank you, Narissa.
Who I loved listening to her floss tube because she has the most gorgeous accent. My favorite was when she would hold up her new threads and say, "And I've got these lovely threads."
Yes, threads was Mallory's favorite. Yes.
Oh, I love different accents, and I have a chameleon's ear for them. So I'm not making fun of you, I promise. I just enjoy accents. So.
She really does. So
Love you guys. It's been nice to get to visit with you, and we hope you have a happy day of stitching. I hope you enjoyed sitting with us while we word vomited all of the things that we've been doing in the past 3 weeks.
that's right.
We stay busy, and we know you are too, so thank you for spending your time with us.
Yes, thank you a lot. Thank you for following us, for liking this video, sharing all the things, commenting. We love when we get your comments. We just appreciate you so much. So
Extra shout out to the writer and performer of our song, Jenni Millsap.
Yes.
The guru of technology, Mike Bosse.
Yes.
And you probably can hear him whistling.
There you go.
We'll see you guys next time.
All right. Bye. Take care. Right. They
Is that
use all the same
incestuous?
colors. No. It's just,
okay.
yeah, it's more like triplets.
Triplets. But never mind. Okay.
Okay.
So that sounds good.
Okay. I keep knocking Sparrow over every time I reach down here because she's just big enough to tip. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
She's a little tipsy.
Yes, just a little.
So it's Monday morning.
That's right.
A little tipsy.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. And I had to weed out something. This video is already, you see how long it is.
15 hours.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, but Okay.
Oh,
to,
the humanity.
to prevent the floss tube tickle, I'm going to take a drink before we even get started.
And look, I brought my coffee and my water.
You are winning. I've only had 1 cup of coffee, but I think that's good for now.
Would you like another spoon?
No.
I will share. We have the same cooties.
We do have the same cooties.
Yeah. And this is a thread bed that Carol made.
Great.
And oh, that's a jump ring that jumped.
Okay, then.
Don't worry about that.
Bye. Okay.
Is that good?
That's good.
Okay, good.